Hey, Prime members, you can listen to Crime and Sports early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Download the app today.
In the depths of an Atlanta forest, a clash between activists and authorities ends in tragedy. I'm Matthew Scher, and on my new podcast, We Came to the Forest, we expose the hidden truths behind a shootout that left one activist dead and countless lives forever changed. Binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest ad-free on Wondery Plus.
Hello and welcome to Crime and Sports.
Yay!
Yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Petrogallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmy Wisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us today on another edition of Crime and Sports. This is an absolutely bonkers one, too. Usually, it's the brain damage sports that are the gems of the crazy, but every once in a while, you get a baseball player like we have today that just had as wild a life as you're going to hear from anybody. So it's just absolutely nuts. We'll talk all about it. Quickly, let's get rid of some housekeeping at the top of the show. Reviews. Thank you for those. They help a lot. If you haven't done it yet, whatever app you're listening on, 5 stars is wonderful. Thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com right now. Get your tickets to live shows. Get your merchandise. Tickets to May 5th, the Small Town Murder virtual live show. They're going to be going live later on in the week, so check those out. Just keep checking back if they're not for sale yet. And they'll be there. Don't worry. That, in addition to that, just want to give you a heads up on something here. Okay. We will be, we're on the Wondery network now. We signed a new contract with them, so they're treating us very well, which is great. We haven't been treated well by a lot of people, so this is wonderful. They're very nice to us. One of the things that's been confusing people, there's a little button on your Apple Podcast feed that says, if you want to subscribe to Wondery Plus, blah, blah, blah. You absolutely, and I cannot emphasize this enough, do not have to subscribe to anything.
There's no
not have to
requirement.
pay $1 to get every single Crime and Sports and Small Town Murder episode besides the Patreon. Right. You don't have to pay anything. That is strictly if you want the regular episode 1 week early. That's it. We'll release it a week. If not, you wait. It comes in your feed like every other, and it never, ever, ever changes. You can
you will miss nothing.
Ignore that thing and never look at it again, or check it out. Look at the other shows. I don't know. Whatever you want to do, it's up to you. Yeah. It's your life. But we're saying you want to just listen to Crime and Sports and Small Town Murder like you always have. You will absolutely do that. You'll hear them right in order. Everything will be fine. So just a heads up on that.
The numbers might be mixed up on
we're fixing that. Don't worry. We're fixing
Don't worry.
You're not missing anything. Trust us.
You've missed nothing so far, and you will miss nothing in the future.
We'll never go behind a paywall. That's not what we're doing at all. This is just if you want it a week early. If not, everything's the same as it ever was. Don't worry about it.
And James won't do it, but I'll tell you. I'll take the fucking credit. We worked really hard. James worked insanely hard to put together 2 episodes.
Her a lot of credit on this whole deal. Everybody.
Say it again.
And Sarah, too, has been working her ass off for this whole move. It's been a lot of work for all of us over here.
But the point is getting the extra show out so that there was not a lag in the extra show being out. We wanted to be a week ahead so that there was nothing missed. And I can't tell you how fucking hard that was for James to do.
Mixing that with the road
to that point.
And
it was insane.
It's a lot.
It was a week and a half, 2 weeks of zero sleep. So I please bear with us. We're working really hard to keep this ship sailing, keep this ship on the rails.
Yeah, we've made it past this hump. We'll be fine. So that was the big thing. Yeah. Smooth sailing from here, and you got some of the best episodes ever out of it because you got some weird punchy shit, so enjoy.
And deepest apologies for the confusion. We worked really hard to try to make it as little confusion as possible, as straightforward and easy as possible, and the user friendly shit was not there, and all of the confusion just piled on top of each other. So apologies. We're working hard to keep it going, and you're not going to miss anything.
If you don't know what we're talking about and it just pops up and you listen to it, don't worry about it. Just listen. Keep listening.
Disregard all this
thing.
shit.
So there we go. Now, if you do want to pay something, Patreon is where you want to go. Patreon.com/crime and sports. All the good stuff is there. almost 200 back episodes. We got all sorts of stuff. New episodes every other week on here. And this week, my goodness, we have some remarkable stuff for you. And for your $5 or above, you get access to Crime and Sports Patreon. You get access to Small Town Murders bonus, everything. So here you're going to get this week. Remember when Tiger Woods got attacked by his wife at a golf club?
I do.
We're going to find out what the hell exactly, because we heard all this, and we heard all the Hooters waitresses and all these different
porn stars.
Porn stars. Tiger's whole insane life that nobody knew about.
Yeah.
Well, he's doing Buick commercials or whatever. Like, this is the weirdest thing in the world. So,
and then the curtain gets yanked and we see the whole thing.
So we're going to talk all about that, the secret life of Tiger Woods. That'll be interesting. And then for Small Town Murders, we're going with a classic. It's back, everybody. The prisoner dating game is back.
Fantastic.
That's right. I'm going to line Jimmy up. It's all felon edition, all violent felon edition. I'm sorry. So no good choices here. I'm going to line him up 4 bachelors, 4 bachelorettes. He's going to choose them based only on their dating pitch from their dating website. And then later on, he's going to find out who he picked and what they did. And that'll be a lot of fun. Check that out. That is Patreon. That's 8 ringers. Patreon.com/crime and sports is where you get all of that. And you're going to get a shout out at the end of the show.
You bet.
Let's do this, Jimmy. Let's get on with this. We have an amazing show for you today.
Lastly, look, we're going to get into this, but listen, if you don't, go to the website and get live tickets, and if you don't believe that we put together a very good live show, get on Twitter, Instagram, anywhere, and read what people are saying about.
We throw down.
I'm seriously
we're comics.
So proud of the shows that we're putting together.
Absolutely.
This past weekend was incredible. Thank you, Pittsburgh and Columbus. You guys are awesome.
Absolutely, that was good shit there. So. Let's do this. Let's talk about our asshole of the week here. Now he's a baseball player, which we don't have. They're spaced out, the baseball players, because there's just not as many criminals in baseball. I don't know. It's just a calmer pace of game, I guess. But
when they do, it's really fun because it's certainly self-sabotage.
Absolutely. Yeah, you didn't have to do this. You haven't been hit in the head. There's no reason for this. It's not like, well, how do you expect him to be violent on Sunday and then nice on Monday? There's none of that shit. No. There's a saying, you have to hit calm. Like you can't be angry and hit. That's the thing that you have to. The whole big game of baseball is like this Zen center thing. So,
and Steinbrenner liked him to be clean cut and pinstripes and no dirt. Wanted him clean and classy. And how do you go from that to? Well, I guess you force clean and classy on people, James.
Well,
they're going to be grimy and gross.
Well, that's just hair and facial hair. It doesn't mean who they are as a person. I mean, that's the thing.
Yeah, the uniform looks like no
matter what,
an Italian gangster's outfit. It's just beautiful.
It is. I'll say that. I don't get. I'm a lifelong Yankees fan, but I don't understand the. No. The rules with the facial hair and the hair are a little much. They just got a guy. I saw a guy from I think they just got from the Mets, a pitcher, and he had a beard and like these dreads and shit, and he looked cool as fuck. And now they shave. He looks like a dork now. And I'm like, this poor bastard. Might make him pitch better because he's going to be less distracted by pussy. I'll tell you that much. Way less distracted by all the pussy that's going to be jumping all over him. So it's maybe it's good for the game, but
dork.
Maybe that's the ploy here. Our guys will never
keep
get laid.
Women from being attracted to Johnny Damon.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. So, anyway, now Johnny Damon needed to shave. That was ridiculous. He looked like he was lost in the woods for 6 months. This guy,
a little homeless.
This dude had like a cool, shape. He just looked cool. Yeah. Like he looked like this was a sculpted style that he,
He looked
cultivates.
like a bass player.
He looked cool as shit. He just looked cool. Yeah. So anyway, let's get on with this with Kenneth Earl Clay.
Ken Clay?
Ken Clay. Remember Ken Clay? Probably not, because
I do not.
He's before both of our times, really.
Okay.
So, but I know his name because of where he ended up playing and what he ended up doing. But he's one of these guys that he's like a baseball card in the wind. He's just like you would find an old baseball card of him and be like, who's this guy? And look on the back and be like, oh wow, okay, yeah, and like
look at that.
And he just disappeared. But he didn't disappear because he did plenty before and after his baseball career. He's born April 6th, 1954, so it's a nice little birthday episode for him pretty much here.
Yeah.
And this story of his childhood comes from his own book. I don't know, the title is at the end of my notes here somewhere, so I'll give you the title when I get to the end of it. But he wrote this book, and it is a harrowing tale of some shit, basically, of how to get into the major leagues. His child life, when you hear his childhood, it makes sense of it reflects perfectly on his adulthood. Like you look at that and you go, oh, well, yeah, obviously that's going to lead to that, sure, but it's just, I don't know. I'll get into it right here. His father's an older guy. Like his father was born in like 1903 or something. So his father was like 51 when he was born.
Wow.
Yeah. So his dad was older, which he was born in 54. So I mean, that's not that. There's how many movie stars now have kids when they're 60? That's not a big deal. But back in the 50s,
my grandparents were younger than that when I was born, though.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Mine were older, but still,
really?
Mine
were 42 when I was born.
Wow, that's that's a hey, don't
young.
call me grandma age. That's the age where you're not allowed to call grandma in public because she'll fucking smack you.
Yeah,
this
my grandparents
shut up.
1 year older than I am today.
Jesus Christ, that's frightening, isn't it?
It is. It's really it's something. It's certainly something.
It makes for a weird. You can't get any farther away of like understanding generations if your dad is 51 when you're born.
Yeah,
like and especially like in the 50s. So when he's 6, that's 1960. Which the society's changing a lot in 1960.
Yeah, there's cars in every driveway.
Yeah, his dad was born on horseback. You know what I mean? Like that's
he was born
crazy.
in a covered wagon.
His dad's like, I remember when we got plumbing. Like, that was the greatest day ever, boy. I'll tell you what.
I remember putting hay in the gas tank. Like,
yeah,
he had to go feed the car.
You literally had to feed your tank. It was feed him up. He's born in Lynchburg, Virginia. He's from Lynchburg, Virginia. And his father was in jail when he was born. Oh. So, yeah, he was born to not a single mother, but a mother with the dad away in jail at the time. Now his dad, this is his, obviously, Ken's story. And the way I looked up, I checked out a lot of things, and most of his story checks out. There's a couple parts of it where I'm going to go, I don't know if I believe this, and you can make your own judgments, but, you know, we let Lex Luger tell his bullshit tale about being setting third grade records for pogo sticking or some shit, the high jumping or pole vaulting or something.
Yeah.
Whatever he was doing. So we'll let him spew his bullshit too, I guess. So his dad, during Prohibition, that's how old his dad is, by the way. His dad was in his 20s during Prohibition.
Stunning.
So think about that shit. But his dad because like his dad's dad was a moonshiner. Yeah. And they were all like in this area too, like some of the backwoods people.
Yeah, Virginia was huge for it. Hell yeah.
They knew how to make booze. So his dad, being in his 20s and being at the time, I guess, kind of on the hip side of shit, figured out to sell booze to people outside of this area and make a lot of money because you can sell it. You can sell a jug to the guy down the holler for $5, but you can sell it to some fucking guy from New Jersey to take back there for $20. You know what I'm saying? So that's a profitable business.
This is Lynchburg?
This is Lynchburg, yeah.
Oh, this is the epicenter of the shit.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So you can't, like, this is a totally... This would be like, you know, do you want to sell your cocaine in Colombia or do you want to bring it to Miami? You know what I mean? Like, it's that sort of thing. So in doing that, he started selling booze to people from out of state who were taking big, 18-wheelers of it out of, giant truckloads of it out and train loads and train cars and shit. Yeah. And then word gets back, among people, hey, if you're back in New Jersey or New York and this is what the hell are you getting? Because back then the booze they were getting wasn't all that great. A lot of it was made in people's bathtubs and shit. So word gets around quick when you have good booze, obviously. So his dad ends up selling booze to some of the top mob figures of the time. His dad's like their booze supplier. Wow. So some of these big speakeasies in New York City that were like really running big, even
funneling this shit in.
Absolutely. Even in Chicago, Capone's places were buying from him too. Like that's how he was really pretty big.
He is to this like Pablo Escobar is to Studio 54.
Kind of like some illegitimate godfather of it. Like, not really related, but they tapped you to stand there while you got some water poured on your forehead.
Like the El Chapo of the 20s.
Kind of, but he's not the fucked up part is like he's not running the operation. He's kind of not a middleman, but he's kind of like, I guess, a sales guy would be the best way to put it, because like he's not
local rep.
Yeah, because he's like, he said he complains like his dad doesn't make he's not making a ton of money. Like they're not wealthy. If he was like running the stills, he would be wealthy. But I guess he's kind of stuck in a middle management position where he's not,
regional distribution.
He's the regional manager of the distribution center, and
that's not good.
No, I mean he gets some glory. Like he gets to know these guys and hang out with them. He goes on deliveries sometimes, and he'll hang out at a couple of Al Capone's joints for a couple of nights, and dance with the girls and find all these ladies and drink.
The company picnic is exciting for him.
Oh my God, can you imagine? The mafia company picnic is the best. If you live through it, it's the best. As long as they didn't plan to kill you at it, you're going to have the best time ever. Sausage and peppers everywhere. It's delicious. So he actually, one thing he was very proud of, because he had pictures with him together later on, he's proud of this, Ken is, that his dad was friends with JFK's dad. So, because JFK's dad was a
scumbag. Yeah, his dad was a scumbag.
He was a bootlegger. Everybody knew that. I mean, that's how he made his money, was in booze.
And then, was an asshole about it. Like, he wanted to...
Well, he went legit. He did the Michael Corleone thing's kind of based on... That part of it's kind of based on him, the trying to turn legit thing. And there's other guys, too, but that was one of the guys they were thinking about when they wrote him was...
Yeah, but you can't turn legit and then pretend that never happened.
He said, I'm going to be so legit, I'm going to put my kids in the army to fight Nazis, and then they're going to be... Get injured. You're going to be a fucking war hero over there. You get back here, you're going to make us all look good. But that's the thing. That's America, though. America, one thing, if you're not from this country, not saying it's good or bad or indifferent or whatever, but if you make enough money and then you come to a state where your businesses at that moment are legitimate, you're a legitimate person. Doesn't matter how you got there. That's over with.
You can parlay that into
I mean,
parlay that into a picket fence.
It's everything from these guys, from the mob guys, to fucking Master P running his record label in the night. It's
true.
It doesn't matter from there to there. Once America loves a success story, and especially as like a self-made, had to dig from the muck success story. Right. So they don't care how the fuck you got there. They go, oh, genius. Well, you're here now. Whereas in traditionally in Europe, it doesn't matter what you have; it's how you got it,
how you got there. Right.
Yeah. Whereas here, that matters nothing at all. You could still have people's blood on your shoes, right? As long as the case is closed and you're not up for indictment, it's fine.
Master P's brother is in fucking prison for the rest of his life. I think both of them.
Probably, yeah. I remember he was for a long time. I don't know if he's still there.
I think C Murder and Silk the Shocker are both in for life.
Yeah, I didn't know about Silk still being in there, but I remember C Murder. That was like a life. I think he was in for life, right?
Yeah. He murdered a fan.
Yeah, it's really tough to go into court with the name C Murder and
be like, didn't do it.
Listen, I'm an upstanding citizen. Here's a picture of me and my daughter at Dairy Queen. They're like, okay, C Murder, you chose that name, sir.
I think C is his brother. He may not be. He may be his cousin or something. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, he's related, I think, though. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
But Silk, I believe, is definitely
his brother. That's definitely his brother. I remember him
and
saying
he's
that back in the day.
A nightmare, too.
Yeah, not good. He was like the tall, skinny one, right? Silk? I'm trying to think of a picture. Yeah, I remember
C's tall as fuck, too.
Yeah, he had the dumbest looking album ever, Silk the Shocker. I remember. It was a cheesy, very cheesy.
With the electricity all over the place?
Yeah, it was really a lot.
Yeah.
It was like it was him and Raiden were teaming up for a fucking compilation track. So, anyway, his dad, from the time he was younger, in his 20s, Prohibition, like we said, he's in and out of jail all through the Prohibition because... there's payoffs where you pay these people off, and then they have to bust you every once in a while, and it's that sort of thing. So it's never any big deal. He always ends up getting out of it. He does a little bit of jail time here and there, but it's never enough to like slow him down or slow down the operation, or even like get him a demotion. He still apparently stays in good favor with everybody. Knows all these mob guys. He's a very connected guy down here for a guy in Lynchburg.
Right, for a guy that knows about the holler.
Yeah, he's from the holler, and he's like he knows all this shit. So here's where it gets a little bit creepy. This is in the 40s. So I think this is 1940 we're going to go to now. So we're talking World War II is on the march, about to get into it and all that shit.
Ken's not born yet.
Ken's not born. He's not born for 14 more years. So I'm sorry, 1938 let's go to then because, he's okay. So Ken's mother, Bernice, she is adopted when she had no parents. She was like an orphan. And back then that was common because who knows if her mom died in childbirth. Right. That used to happen a lot. And then the father
Dad already has a new family.
Either that or he's like, I already have 2 mouths to feed. I can't take care of a baby. And they just give it away to a nunnery and they just, fucking give the kid away in adoption back then. So there's a lot of adopted kids like that back then and a lot of orphans. So she is adopted when she's 14. And how do we say this? By Ken's father.
Okay. So Ken adopted his bride? Future bride?
When she was 14.
Yikes.
Okay. Reason being, the reason why he didn't go shopping for it, but he ended up with her was his friend, who was one of his business cohorts, was found hung upside down with his throat cut from a tree in the woods. Yeah.
So he needed a daughter so that people wouldn't fuck with him because he's got a mouth to feed?
No, his friend died and that was his daughter. So his daughter
that was her dad?
That was her dad. So his daughter was an orphan. So he adopted her, which everybody said was such a nice thing. And they were like, what a nice man. He's, Meanwhile, he's a single, dude in his 30s. He's like, I'll take on that 14-year-old girl, bring her over my house. Right there is a red flag.
She's going to end up pregnant. And she did.
2 years later, Ken's mom is pregnant.
Oh, my.
At 16. So she gets married to Ken's father. So
what a story.
Ken's father married his daughter.
Gross.
What the fuck is going on, Woody Allen? What's happening? Now, all of this, I assume, is true because no one would say this about their own family unless it was...
No.
It's probably worse. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he probably hung that guy upside down and slit his throat.
I was going to say, he probably kidnapped the girl and just kept her. It probably wasn't even like any sort of like nice guy adoption thing, even at the outset. He broke into the house, slit the guy's throat, hung him from a tree, and took his daughter over his shoulder like a caveman.
I mean, what is murder worse than what he's doing? I don't know.
I don't know I think murder to get to this is worse. Probably that's grosser. It's like, wow, you really want it that bad. You'll kill for it. It's one thing if it's like, hey, if it falls in my lap, I'll be a disgusting, awful monster person.
Stepfather, yeah.
But instead, he's like out there like,
creating the stepfather situation.
Yeah. So, like I said, we'll believe Ken and say that this was a totally... his dad was heartbroken about his friend dying and decided to take his daughter in. And then somehow, they, got together.
Mutually fell in love one way or another, hopefully.
That would be, and we understand that is absolutely humanly and legally impossible to do.
In Virginia, this is probably legal back then.
She was 16. When they got married. Yeah. So, I mean, that was, you get married at 16 back then. Her parents were dead, so nobody to sign the papers. He's the legal guardian. Hey, look at that.
Sign your own marriage certificate as the father.
There we go. I give her permission, and I do. All right.
I do, and she does.
I do, and according to me, as her legal guardian, so does she. All right. Unfucking believable.
Wow.
So, that's absolutely bonkers. So, yeah.
Unbelievable.
Her mom
I can't imagine that situation being real.
His mom's born in 1938, and then he's born in 1954 from this situation. That's what I mean. He's got to be full of shit on that, right? Like that has to be more nefarious than even that. Although that's so gross. I guess if you're admitting that much, maybe it's, I don't know, whatever.
Maybe that's all there is.
Maybe he's just like, I'm laying it all out there. I don't give a shit who knows it. Because I think his parents are dead by the time he writes the books, and he's an only child, so he doesn't give a shit.
For Virginia, that's about as Jack and Diane as it gets.
That's for Depression era Lynchburg. That might be. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think they're probably a little better on it now, but not then. So when Ken was born, like I said, his father was in prison. His father wasn't, not for banging his adopted daughter, mind you. No. That would be what you would hope he's in prison for. But instead, again, I don't know how this could be worse, so this must be true. It's one of those things. I can't imagine anything worse. His father was arrested and convicted for burning down a church. Okay?
Why would he do that?
Not for any theoretical or theological or political or racial, none of that shit. The local church apparently had been giving his little crew a cut of their tithings.
Really?
Yes, they've been giving them a cut of their tithings as like protection money. They were running protection rackets. Like he learned from the mob guys how to do this, and he's shaking down local businesses, including the church. The church.
And they didn't pay?
Well, they got the guy died that he was always dealt with since the 30s. The guy died, so they got a new guy.
The new guy wasn't having it.
He wasn't having it, so he burned the fucking church down, and they told on him that he'd been trying to shake him down for the last however long, and so anyway, he ends up going to prison for that. So now he's born to basically a single mother who's had her adopted, disgustingly old father's baby.
Yeah.
And who's a church burner. Like, it's really...
Church flamer.
He's a flamer. He's a church flamer.
She's a 30-year-old child bride is what she is.
Absolutely. Yeah. This is crazy. That's what's happening at this. Well, she's not even. She's 16 upbringing. At this point. So.
Oh, yeah.
She's only 16. She's still a teenager.
Wait. She was 16 when he was born?
Yeah. She's 16 when he's born.
Oh, my.
Yeah. She was born in 38. They got married in 50. Or he adopted her in 52 when she was 14. 56.
Dear God.
Or 54, they have Ken. She's 16. They get married. Yeah, she goes from daughter to wife overnight.
Wait, was she adopted in 38 by him? Or she was...
No, she was born in 38. Did I say it? No, she was born in 38.
So she was a tiny little baby when
her father died in 52. She's born in 38. Her father died in 52. She's 14.
Got it.
Okay. He adopts her in 52. 2 years later, he marries her. Ken's born in 54. So... It's pretty fucked up. Now, okay, all of this, like I said, all of that is so disgusting and sordid that it can only be either real or worse, basically, from Ken's book. This is the part I don't believe, and it's the most innocuous. It's so doesn't matter, but I don't believe this part because this is the part where I feel like he's trying to make himself some sort of like, aw shucks kind of guy, all right?
Yeah.
This is what an editor would do or a ghostwriter on a book would be like, we need to build a legend here. We need to build something. So Ken's mother at 16, she first of all, had a pretty difficult childbirth with him as well.
Really?
So after recovering from this and having no help also, she has no help. He's in jail. Right. Her family is not around, obviously. Her father's been hung from a tree and had his throat slit, so... Not a lot of help here.
50.
Her husband's in his 50s and in fucking jail. So, not great.
No.
So, she ended up, there's a peanut farm around there. She got a job in the office in the peanut. She worked in like a trailer thing, basically, doing paperwork for the peanut farm.
Yeah.
By the way, peanuts are Virginia's largest agricultural export. Did you know that?
Is that right?
So, it's peanuts and tobacco is what you get there.
Okay.
So, yeah. She works there. Now, he says when he's like, he hangs out with mom at work and would throw, this sounds like such bullshit and I don't believe him for a second. He would throw the peanuts at milk jugs.
Okay.
Like Sid Finch style, but not 100 miles an hour. He would just practice trying to hit him with milk jugs like playing a game as a kid.
In the shell, yeah.
In the shell. But he was doing it so much that, he was getting good aim after years. Okay. You know what I mean? I don't buy this for a fucking second, Ken.
Peanut hurling turned him into an MLB starter.
This is what I mean. And he said that his dad gets out of jail when he's 7.
Okay.
And his mom leaves the farm because his dad's like, my wife's not working on a peanut farm.
Right.
Look, that goes against my pride as a church-burning child molester. I have standards.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he does.
I'm not less of a man. No wife of mine will have to work.
No wife of mine's going to be working. So, anyway, his dad, because he said he wanted to go to the peanut farm to throw peanuts still. But his mom didn't work there anymore. So his dad said, "What are you talking about? I'll get you a ball. What are you, dense? Like, what? Did you get enough oxygen at birth, son? Like, what's wrong with you?" And Ken, because he's been at the peanut farm and stuff, he hasn't really seen a whole lot of baseball, so he just knows he likes to throw things. He didn't really understand that there's guys that do that, and that's their job. He just thought throwing shit was fun. So
there's peanut hurdling milk cans. I can make money from that?
Yeah, well, he didn't know money, but they said they just signed him up for Little League, and were like, here, go there. Here's a ball. You like to throw shit. Tell that guy you like to throw things, and he'll have you throwing things. So,
no more peanuts.
Yeah, he does that. They sign him up for Little League. Now he's amazing in Little League right away. He is.
Really?
I found from 1962, so he's 8 years old, and it's a little, town paper, and they have, all the local results of everything.
But he made the paper.
He made the paper because he threw 2 straight no-hitters on back-to-back days. He threw a Saturday and a Sunday no-hitter at 8 years old.
Incredible.
I mean, they're 6 innings apiece. He's not Roger Clemens over here, but,
Great.
It's pretty goddamn good,
I wonder how many Roger Clemens threw as an 8-year-old.
Probably not as many. He's already 5 more to Nolan Ryan, he's almost there.
He's closing in.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. We're going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles,
a big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud,
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.
He was hip-hop's biggest mogul, the man who redefined fame, fortune, and the music industry.
The first male rapper to be honored on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Sean Diddy Combs.
Diddy built an empire and lived a life most people only dream about.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But just as quickly as his empire rose, it came crashing down.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution.
I was up. I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. I'm disgusted. I'm so sorry.
Until you're wearing an orange jumpsuit, it's not real. Now it's real.
From his meteoric rise to his shocking fall from grace, from law and crime, this is the rise and fall of Diddy. Listen to the rise and fall of Diddy exclusively with Wondery Plus.
So right away, he's a great pitcher. So whether that's from Peanuts or it's just because he's a good fucking natural good athlete. Right. And he ends up being a big guy. He's like 6'3.5", 200 pounds. He's a big strapping dude who can throw a baseball. So
lucky bastard.
He might just have physical attributes and he's, trying to make himself be more humble or whatever. So he goes to high school. He plays for the EC, like the initials, E.C. Glass Hilltoppers. That's the school mascot. So it's EC Glass, and it's in Lynchburg. And I found a bunch of articles. He lettered in 5 sports.
Really?
I don't know what fucking 5 sports can you even play simultaneously?
I guess tracks.
I know he plays baseball and basketball because I found clippings of him.
Okay. And they got soccer too, I guess?
Maybe soccer and track and field is probably. I wonder if they do track and field as separate events. I don't know.
Yeah.
He does shot put and the relay. Right, so maybe that's, I don't know. Maybe that's it. Basketball, maybe football. He's a big guy. I don't know why he wouldn't play football. Probably too. So either way, I found him here. Here's one article from 1970. So he's 16 years old, where it said, quote, this is from Portsmouth, quote, handcuffed for 6 2/3 innings on the 2-hit pitching of Kenny Clay, Kempsville came up with 3 runs in the bottom of the 7th, but fell 1 run short as E.C. Glass of Lynchburg registered a 4-3 decision over the Chiefs in the Virginia State High School 1A baseball semifinals. So there you go. He walked 11 batters that day, but he didn't allow a hit until the 4th inning. So I was reading about it. He didn't. Nobody hit it into the out. Only 2 guys hit it into the outfield. The guy who got a base hit and somebody popped up to short left field. Otherwise,
He's
it was
very good. Huh?
Well, he throws a hard fast. He's got a fastball in the mid-90s and a hard sinker. So a lot of ground balls is what he gets. Which is what you want. That's it's going to throw a few pitches. Yeah, it's good stuff and very few home runs. It's good for him. So then there's a different game here where he drove in the winning run to give himself a win in like a 2-hit pitching outing. So he's hitting and pitching. I found one for basketball here where it said he had. Let's see here. The picture is some guy. The picture is some black dude like doing a layup on him, and he's like he's getting posterized in the local paper at 16. But it says he averages 10.1 points a game. So
it's pretty decent.
Pretty decent. So he's doing well in high school sports, lettering in 5. He's thriving for a kid who came from a weird environment. He's, I guess sometimes sports, I think, you can put yourself into that as a kid and almost kind of
keeps you,
push your home life away.
Yeah, the whole plan of it is to, quote unquote, keep the kid out of trouble and keep his head focused on something. But if you have a natural talent for it, it can do much more for you.
If you play 3 sports at the same time, you're like, I got practice at 3:30, 5:30, and 7:30. Not a lot of trouble you can get into. You're going to be exhausted by 9:30.
Yeah.
You're going
After
home.
That, you're going to bed.
You're going to eat some food and go to bed, and that's it.
Yeah.
So now back to his father. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now his father's getting up there in age. His father's about 70 years old at this point. Almost his late 60s.
Hard living.
His dad has still been illegitimate this whole time, but like he took it down a huge notch. He's doing like small things. There's one I know where he gets arrested for like a stolen electronics thing. There's like a bunch of TVs or some kind of electronic components that were stolen in the 60s, and he was trying to sell them. Some FBI got involved and whatever. So I don't know if that's the thing that got him in trouble. I don't know if he talked or what, but the guys he was working with, the mob guys, were apparently upset with him over this, him getting in trouble.
In his 70s?
Well, they think of him, and this happens all the time. Any mob book you read, whenever somebody gets busted and they're 68, they're like, we got to kill him now. No one's going to prison when they're 70. They want to be comfortable when they're 70. Your honor and all that bullshit. Like, they're like, I got like 10 years left and I'd like to spend it on the street. Fuck these guys. That's bottom line. So that's what ends up happening. He runs afoul. There's a guy who ended up, during this time, like in the 60s and 70s, mob guys started going down to Florida a lot because it was wide open territory. None of the families owned it. It was considered...
A lot of parking meters.
A lot of things to do down there. Well, you could rob and steal blind, and it was in New York, you can only do it in a certain area. If you're the Union family, you can't go hijack these people's trucks because they belong to that guy, and it's all in Florida. You could do anything you want. Mm-hmm. So guys started going around the South. Atlanta started getting a few of them, and there was a couple guys that came to Virginia. I don't know if it was through his dad or what, but one of the guys who's actually a mob guy that I've read about in a different book, his name is Pete Provolongo. You ever heard of him?
Mm-hmm.
No. He's I think he was a Genovese guy. He's
Pistol Pete?
No, not Pistol Pete. He'll come up in this episode, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, Pistola Pete comes up in this episode, and so
does this guy though.
And so does Rusty. Rusty, what's his name? Fucking. I
don't know.
Shit, we'll get to it anyway. So he. Pete Provolongo, he was a guy who got busted in New York, and then he moved down here. And I know this last arrest was for wire fraud, mail fraud, and like fraud.
Yeah.
And it was some kind of swindle having to do with some kind of some kind of unionization where they weren't, like they pretended to unionize auto shop workers, but never did it and just took all their fucking dues and took off.
Oh.
So they just robbed a bunch of auto shop workers.
Just took all the money from the union hall and just skated.
Just took everything and took off, never even set it up. So then the auto guys were in trouble with their bosses, who then fired them because there was no actual union.
They wanted union representation. Yeah. There's nothing to do.
and they gave all their money to get it all set up. So
fuck.
That's this Provolongo guy, Ken's dad thinks that the mob guy is going to kill him, so he won't rat because he knows how the fucking game is played. Ken's dad. Sure. So he says, I'm taking off. Good luck with your fucking finals. I got to get out of here.
Pitch hard, kiddo.
I'm going on the lam. And he tells Ken that he's going. There's like a hunting cabin that he knows of. He's like, I'm going to the cabin. I'm taking my shotguns. And if they come for me, they come for me. And I lived a long life, and I'm taking a couple of them with me. So, have a good one, basically. So, anyway, about between 6 months and a year go by, from what Ken says, and his dad never came back.
Oh, no.
So he's still gone. They don't hear from it. So the cops, through this, they were looking into his dad, but now they can't find his dad. So now they're looking into Provolongo as, like, why is his dad missing? So now they're thinking maybe Provolongo had something to do with him going missing. Sure. Anyway, this all makes sense in a second here. So they're looking for him. So after a baseball game, Ken said he pitched a baseball game where he threw a 2-hitter, he says, and he lost 1-0.
Oh, that's a brutal day.
Imagine that.
Oh, God.
Like, fuck.
I gave up 1, you guys. What the
you
fuck?
Can't get 1 and take it to extras or something? One of you fucking people can't cross the plate?
Scumbags.
Dude, it's fucking crazy. So, yeah, he does that. I'd be so fucking mad about that, especially
I can't
in high
imagine.
school.
Yeah.
So, anyway, he gets home. He's dropped off at home by a friend.
Yep.
And he's sitting around, and he said 2 guys pull up in front of his house in a car and get out. And he walks up to them because they ask him for directions. And he's like, oh, yeah, if you go here, there. He's got his uniform on and everything. Yeah. And he said, next thing you know, he feels a shot in the back of his head, and he wakes up, and he's out cold. And
they shot him.
No, they didn't shoot him. They hit him in the back of the head. Somebody fucking knocked him in the back of the head. He felt like a shot in the back of, like, pow.
Okay. Yeah.
He said he remembers seeing the ground coming up, like, toward his face.
Yeah.
And he landed in his front yard. And he said he woke up still in his baseball uniform with his cleats on and everything, tied to a chair.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so he's like, where am I? What's going on? He said he could remember his feet. He was tapping his feet, like in nervousness, because that's the only part he could move was his, like, ankles. And he said he kept tapping his feet, and the cleats were, like, on the ground. Kept pissing the guys off. So they want to know where his dad is, because now, rather than his dad having to disappear, they need his dad to show up. Because they'd rather go down for fraud than murder. So they're like, fuck, this is it's one of those things. So this is a threat, I would say. Ken's 17 years old at this point. Yeah. Ken's a righty, throws in the mid-90s. They threaten to cut his right arm off if he doesn't produce his father.
Your dad doesn't show up, we're taking your arm instead.
Your right arm, and we're gonna fucking
one.
The good one, yeah. Can you throw left-handed? And they said if that doesn't work, they'll kill his mom. How's that? So then you'll be a one-armed guy with no mom either or dad. How do you like that?
Yeah, but if my dad's dead and my mom's dead, that's 2 murders.
Exactly. But I guess you're trying to scare a 17-year-old. And he said it worked.
Yeah.
It worked. But then a month later, unexpectedly for Ken, he gets a miracle. Oh. The 1972 Major League Baseball draft comes along. He has no idea that people are even looking at him. None.
He doesn't even know that they know he exists.
He has no clue that Major League Baseball knows he exists. He's talking about maybe I can go to junior college and keep playing because I like to play, shit like that. Well, we'll talk about this draft. Number 1 overall, 1972 Major League draft. Jimmy.
Oh, you don't know that I know this?
Yeah, no.
You didn't know I knew this?
You do you?
Randy Johnson.
Absolutely. No, it is Dave Roberts.
I would have had no. I mean, if you just said two random ass common names, I probably could have gotten there in 10 guesses.
Dave Roberts. Next up, Rick Manning. You could have put those together eventually.
I could have handled this.
Larry Christensen. You could have got him, I think, on there.
Obviously.
This first round, I got to be honest, until you get to number 22 overall, Chet Lemon, who played for the Tigers and had one of the sweetest afros known to man. Chet had a kind afro, dude. It was awesome. Chet was the shit. I love Chet Lemon, man. I've been looking for a Chet Lemon jersey to wear to Detroit, actually, and I can't fucking find one. Detroit, how do you not have Chet Lemon jerseys everywhere? You have Lou Whitaker, that's fine. I'll take Sweet Lou, but I want Chet Lemon, damn it.
Or at least Chet Lemon afros for sale.
Oh, something. But I want the Chet Lemon jersey. So he's number 22 overall. Go to the second round. Let's see here. Number 38 overall in the second round, because back then there's a lot less teams. The New York fucking Yankees, newly bought by George Steinbrenner here.
Wow.
He's in the process, I believe, of buying them right now from CBS. Select Ken Clay.
What?
He was like, pardon? I got what now? Drafted? Holy shit. He was more likely to be drafted into the fucking Army than the Yankees. Put it that way. Like, that's in his mind. It's 72.
Do you think he's mafia related based on his father? Do you think they had anything to do with getting him drafted?
No, that's we'll hear. We absolutely know not for a second here, but no, it's George Steinbrenner. He's a Cleveland shipbuilder. He doesn't fucking care about those guys. He has no idea who those guys are. So they pick him. Bob Nepper is picked a little after him, who's a pitcher for a long, long time. Number 50 overall, Dennis Eckersley.
No shit.
Who is a Hall of fucking Famer. So the Yankees could have picked Dennis Eckersley. Instead, they chose Ken Clay.
He was drafted that long ago?
That long? Yeah, he was a big starter in the 70s. He wasn't a reliever. When we were kids, he was like this weird old man reliever, but he was a starter for years.
But I didn't realize he'd been in the league for 20 fucking years by the time I'd seen him.
Neither did I. But
that's amazing.
Until you look at his baseball card and you're like, holy shit. Also, John Candelaria picked 47th overall. Who's
no kidding.
The Candyman, longtime good pitcher. And again, another guy. So Nepper, Candelaria, and Eckersley, 3 longtime good pitchers, and they picked Ken Clay rather than those 3. So good job, Yankees. Gary Carter taken in the 3rd round. The catcher.
Wow.
And then 7th round, Willie Randolph taken. So
a lot of guys that were playing for a long time.
Well, it takes 5 years or so to get to the majors.
I guess so.
When you see a guy coming up, he was drafted. Back then they drafted most of the guys out of high school. College draft, they didn't really do that until Moneyball made that real popular. Otherwise, it was
no fucking idea.
High school. Now. He's still got the whole, mob wants to cut my arm off and kill my mom thing hanging over his head.
And he's going to mob gangland. Like, he's going to the Disneyland of the mob. Holy shit.
But lucky for him, turns out old Petey Provolongo here, above everything else, the mafia, honor, chicken parmesan, above everything, he loves the Yankees. He
refuses to kill a Yankee.
He's a gigantic Yankee fan. Has a room in his house with newspaper clippings of games that he remembers from when he was a kid. Like, he's a fucking a super freak Yankee fan.
They drafted who? God damn it.
So he completely changes his tune. Now it's, Ken, I'm going to cut your arm off. Now it's, my buddy gets the kid right here with the rocket arm. Now he's like, I practically raised him. He's fucking acting like he's his best friend. He offers to represent him as an agent.
Wow.
I'll represent these fucking guys. They push you around. You need somebody on your fucking side. They're going to fuck you in the ass. Blah, blah, blah.
Cut it off. I was just kidding. I want to get a massage.
Oh, I was going to cut it off, massage it, and have it put back on. What are we talking about here?
I was going to give you a better one. That's all.
So then he's a Yankee. His book here. This is all from his book, Ken's book, which... His title makes sense later on because what he does is a kind of a bad life after this. He's a kind of a shitty person, as you can understand.
Right.
This is all from his book, Finding a Kinder Existence by Ken Clay.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be much crazier if any of it was true. I gotta say. If any of that shit, besides him pitching in high school and lettering in 5 sports, was true.
His dad's not a molester?
No, I don't know who his dad is. Don't know who his mom is. Don't know any of his background because it's not available.
We just made up so many monsters.
They don't exist. Who cares? And his book is Finding a Kinder Existence.
It's not real?
Finding a Kinder Existence. What do those letters add up to?
I don't know. What is faking? What is it? Fake?
F-A-K-E. Fake. Finding a Kinder Existence.
You son of a bitch. I was waiting for why that was fucking interesting. I'm like, okay. So he's looking to be better.
Exactly. Oh, God. Okay. I had to.
God damn it. And his book is fake.
His book is fake.
Damn it.
His crimes later are insane, but there's nothing else about his life. So I had to pad something with some funny shit. And so it's a comedy show.
Bootlegging and murder and child molestation.
Shucking and bebop. I'm sorry about you. You know what? I'm not sorry. You probably laughed, if nothing else, at that crazy story. If you're upset, take away the last minute of the show and pretend it was real. What's the difference? What do you care? Who cares? Either way,
the other day I was just thinking about how much I missed that one guy's brother who got eaten by a bear.
Yuri.
Was it
Yuru? Yuru.
Yeah.
Yuru was his brother. Yeah.
That's who I was missing.
Poor little Yuru. He was attacked by the bear.
We barely knew him.
We barely knew you. He tried valiantly to save his brother.
He really did.
He really
beat him with a hockey stick.
Yeah, he beat him hard with a hockey stick. So, This guy had it even tougher, though. He had a
sure did.
At least that guy's father wasn't a molesting fraudster. So,
possibly killing his own friends, hanging them upside down.
Absolutely. And Pete Provolongo sounded real as fuck, didn't he?
He's a good dude, that Pete.
A non-existent person. None of those people exist. The only things that were real were his sports stuff out of that. That was it. Just he went to high school. So I lettered in 5 things, and he played in those couple games I told you about. That's all I could find about his younger
Why
life,
do we bother with real stories when fake ones are so much better?
It could be anything at that point. I mean, shit. You want me to tell you a tale, I'll tell you something. Fuck it, I'll make something up. So, sorry.
So who's he drafted by? Is he
the Yankees?
Really
That's true.
Yeah,
the draft part was true. The sports stuff was true. He's drafted by the Yankees. It's just there's no Pete Provolongo, and he doesn't care about him.
Nobody cares about the Yankees.
He's just very excited to be drafted by the Yankees because Mickey Mantle played there. That's all. He's just jacked.
Right. He grew up in Virginia, though.
He grew up in Lynchburg. He went to E.C. Glass High School. He lettered in 5 sports. He pitched really well. He didn't know
rest of it, who fucking knows?
Who knows? They had nothing else on his life. So I'm like, nothing? Not even anything? Not a drop of color to add to the fucking... No, I got to have something here. So it grew. What do you want from me? I get stoned and it grows. What do you want?
Nothing makes me happy.
I know you enjoy those, so I figured it's been a while.
Was Dennis Eckersley drafted in 75?
Yes. No, 72. 72, just like him.
Holy shit.
The draft was real. No, all the sports part was real. All his personal life wasn't real.
20 years of that guy's career. I missed all of it.
Who's this old fart with his mullet?
That great mustache.
Yeah, cut your mullet, Dennis. It's 94. He pitched to like 96 or some shit. He played till Eckersley. He played forever.
Oh, longer than that.
96, 97 something. He was kicking around with different teams.
Yeah.
So anyway, our guy here, Ken Clay, he plays for, they send him to the rookie Appalachian League for Johnson City.
You don't understand how fucked my memory is, though. So the rest of this show, I'm going to be calling back all kinds of shit that didn't happen.
Good.
This is why I can't remember anything, because there are people like, remember that show that this happened? And I'm like, I don't know that it happened.
I don't know. Is that real?
Shit up. I don't know.
This is only the 3rd time I've made anything up.
On this one. Then we got the cheese murders. And
that was once. So that's once in 270 episodes on the other
Wasn't
show.
There 2 in there, though? There was something about rats or something?
I don't know, but the cheese murders were the main one. Either way, that's out of 270 episodes. It was a 3-minute bit, and I told you exactly when it was over.
Now it's all fake.
Crime and Sports. This is episode 298. So
We've
that
done it
is
3 times now?
Our third time in 300 episodes. So you never know. Either way, enjoy the ride, and if it's fake, I'll tell you. That's all.
The fake ones are the best ones.
I'll never not tell you if something's fake. Put it that way.
There you go. Yeah, I'll never rat on myself.
I'll always rat on myself.
Always, yeah. I'll never not.
Never not. So anyway, the rest of it real from now on out. No bullshit. I swear to God. So he starts 13 games for Johnson City, Tennessee, down there. 4 complete games, 91 innings pitched, which is damn good, not bad at all. He's got 66 strikeouts, 53 walks. Pretty good for a rookie that's 18 years old. So the next year they move him up to Fort Lauderdale, which is regular A ball. He goes 10-10 that year, 24 starts, and 11 complete games in 24 starts. They're seeing what he's got.
Like he's playing for his life, James.
Like he's playing for his arm. He's playing to keep his fucking arm. 158 innings pitched, which is a lot for a kid that age. 97 strikeouts, 80 walks, so pretty good again. In Fort Lauderdale that year, here's an article from the newspaper, 100% real. Fort Lauderdale's Ken Clay flirted with baseball immortality last night, but wound up a mere mortal. Clay, a gangling right-hander, Jesus, thanks. One sentence I'm immortal, and the next sentence I'm gangling. Thanks a lot.
Nobody's ever been described as that and was handsome. You know what
he is too. He's not a bad-looking guy, especially when he's young. That just
and they
means
say that word like he's just repulsively skinny and spaghetti-armed.
Yeah. Like he's like a cartoon, like like flinging them back and forth. Hurled 8 innings of no-hit ball, but had to settle for a 2-hitter and a 4-0 Florida State League win over the Tampa Tarpons at Al Lopez Field. The left fielder broke up Clay's bid for a no-hitter by slamming a single to left field. So there you go.
Yeah, but you're talking about a win. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, and he
W is what we're after.
8 no-hit innings is pretty good. I mean,
solid.
That gets you some attention there. The next year he goes up to West Haven, which is Double-A. And this league here on West Haven Yankees, Double-A, it's in the Eastern League. It's in Connecticut. They go 58-79. Ron Guidry's on his team. You know who he is?
No kidding.
Left-hander, Louisiana Lightning himself there, Ron Guidry. He is on his team. They come up together, him and Guidry. Guidry is the fireball throwing lefty. Man, he was fucking good. So anyway, that year, let's see who else is on there. Yeah, okay. So that year with West Haven, he pitches in the year before he had a 2.28 ERA in Fort Lauderdale. This year his ERA is 4.88. 5 wins, 13 losses, 4.88 ERA. 31 games. He starts 21 of those. They try him out in the bullpen a little bit too. And he's walking a lot of guys too. 99 strikeouts, 77 walks.
Would he lose control?
No, last year he had 80 walks. It's just his control is a problem through his whole career. Walks are a problem for him, and that's one thing they hate from young pitchers is walks. If you're throwing walks, you better be throwing 105 miles an hour because they don't like that shit at all, especially now. So back then they put up with it a little bit more. The next year, 75, they move him up to Syracuse, AAA at that point, and he has a 6 ERA up there for a little while. In 75. 76, though, he plays for Syracuse. He's in AAA, and he's 11-8 with a 4.13 ERA, which is pretty good.
Getting better. Yeah.
Getting better. 87 strikeouts, 67 walks, so he brought it down a little bit there.
Trying to figure it out.
Yep. 77, though, is when he kind of catches fire for Syracuse. He starts all 10 games he plays in and has a 1.68 ERA.
Great.
Problem is 32 strikeouts, 33 walks. That's not good.
That's not great. Yeah.
You want it to be like 3-1 strikeouts to walks at least. 4-1 if it's really good.
You got 1-1 here. That's not good at all.
1-1 is terrible. So not wonderful, but he's throwing heat and he's not giving up any runs because he pitches a lot of ground balls. So he's the type of guy that walks a guy, but then gets the next guy to hit it into a double play because he gets him to ground it right to second hard with a hard sinker. So
zeros it up.
Yeah, he's the type of guy that's set up to give up walks and be okay. Some guys can't. If you're like a high fastball guy and you're giving up walks, you're fucked. You're going to end up giving up a lot of 3-run homers. Yeah. You're the guy giving up a shitload of 3-run shots.
You're gonna serve up walk-offs a lot.
An awful lot. God damn it. So anyway, yeah, he does so well that they're going to end up bringing him up to the club this year in the middle of the season. Also in 1977, right in the middle of the season, there's a big controversy over the baseballs.
What do you mean?
Remember in the 90s, everyone was like, the ball's fucking juiced, man. The ball's livelier. Remember that?
I don't.
In the 90s, that was the big thing when everyone was hitting those home runs, rather than just the obvious of everybody's on massive amounts of steroids. Right. There was huge controversies about the lively ball. The Major League Baseball had them insert a different core to the ball so it flies farther and it's livelier because they want more runs. That was the big...
Or the batter's the cheater, you know?
Yeah. Well, the guy swinging the bat's 260 pounds with acne all over his back and veins popping out of his forearms, and they're like, the ball's juiced, man. It's like, no, that guy's on Deca to his asshole. What are you talking about?
And there's a bunch of cork in that bat.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're Sammy Sosa, it's both. It's fucking both. So this happens every once in a while. Whenever there's any sort of offensive uptick, pre-steroids, they would go, it's the balls. They're juicing the balls. That was a big thing. So in the late 60s was like a historic low in batting. Like nobody could hit. Really? I think in 1969 or 68, maybe it was 67, one of those 3 years, because it was the year before they lowered the mound, only one guy in both leagues hit 300, and it was Yastrzemski, and he hit like 301 or something. So it was like
Carl.
Offense was at the bottom, so they lowered the pitching mound, and then offense picked back up.
Yeah, because that's the most boring fucking outing of my life. Yeah. I don't want to come sit there and watch a guy play catch.
It's one thing when Sandy Koufax is shutting you out or Bob Gibson is, but when some mediocre fourth starter is doing it because he's so high up on the mound, it's a different story. So they had a big thing in the 70s because offense picked up. So they started, guys like George Foster were hitting a lot of home runs. Reggie Jackson was hitting a lot of homers. So these were just a different kind of athlete, too. They were big, strong guys.
Don't make me sit and watch Todd Stottlemyre play catch.
Yeah. Which fucking, like when Reggie Jackson's hitting home runs, you can say it's not the ball. He swings as hard as he possibly can to the point of falling down and will either strike out or hit a home run. So that's not the ball. It's just no one has taken a cut like that ever. Like that's a crazy cut to take at a ball.
Yeah.
So anyway, they had this whole thing. Expensive tests of current baseballs being used in the major leagues have shown them to be within authorized league specifications, they say. The results of the battery of laboratory tests, which were conducted at the University of Missouri.
What?
Yeah, this is why it's in here. This is so funny. Were announced jointly by Lee McPhail, president of the American League, and the National League president, Chub Feeney, which sounds like a porn star.
It does.
Chub Feeney. Just I'm always chubbed.
Yeah.
The tests were ordered after suspicions that the current balls are livelier than those used in previous years. Manufacturer of the Major League balls was turned over to the Rawlings Sporting Goods Company this year in a switch from Spalding, which had previously held the contract. One of the people who was doing this, Professor of Mathematics, Dr. Max Engelhardt, Associate Professor of Mathematics, Dr. Terry F. Lenhoff, and Associate Director of the Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering Programs, conducted the tests over a 9-day period.
9 days of them juggling?
9 days of people who are these are smart people that know, we need their brain power to do different things than this. This is not.
And we got
important.
them unraveling balls to see if they're all the same and whether or not their makeup makes them bounce more.
Baseballs were shot from an air cannon against a solid board constructed of ash baseball bat planks, and velocity was measured by a radar gun. So they were seeing how the different bounces from the different balls off the different planks.
This is the 70s. We got unsolved murders, you guys.
Yeah, Ted Bundy is currently on the loose. I think he's escaped from jail at that point, and he's literally walking around right now.
We could use you guys deducing who's doing all this bad shit in the country.
Gacy has children under his house right now.
At this moment. Undug graves.
And we have scientists spending 9 days examining baseballs and then coming up with, nope, they're fine. Nope, they're all right.
Ed Kemper has girls' heads in suitcases, you guys.
We came up with George Foster's just strong and swings hard. That's what we came up with. He's pretty good. That's all we got.
Commence the killing, fellas.
Yeah, Reggie takes big cuts at that ball, so there you go.
Wow.
A few miles from the glass spires of Midtown Atlanta lies the South River Forest. In 2021 and 2022, the woods became a home to activists from all over the country who gathered to stop the nearby construction of a massive new police training facility, nicknamed Cop City.
At approximately 9 o'clock this morning, as law enforcement was moving through various sectors of the property, an individual, without warning, shot a Georgia State Patrol trooper.
This is We Came to the Forest, a story about resistance.
The abolitionist mission isn't done until every prison is empty and shut down.
Love and fellowship.
It was probably the happiest I've ever been in my life.
And the lengths we'll go to protect the things we hold closest to our hearts. Follow We Came to the Forest on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.
Behind the closed doors of government offices and military compounds, there are hidden stories and buried secrets from the darkest corners of history. From covert experiments pushing the boundaries of science to operations so secretive they were barely whispered about. Each week, on Redacted, Declassified Mysteries, we pull back the curtain on these hidden histories. 100% true and verifiable stories that expose the shadowy underbelly of power. Consider Operation Paperclip, where former Nazi scientists were brought to America after World War II, not as prisoners, but as assets to advance U.S. intelligence during the Cold War. These aren't just old conspiracy theories. They're thoroughly investigated accounts that reveal the uncomfortable truths still shaping our world today. The stories are real. The secrets are shocking. Follow Redacted, Declassified Mysteries on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Redacted early and ad-free right now on Wondery Plus.
So 1977 Yankees, this is a kind of a historic team you can watch. Yeah. There's documentaries about it. There's movies that always have this in the background, whether it be Summer of Sam or anything with this around the Son of Sam. They mix the Yankees in because it was that time. It was that summer. So 77, 162 the Yankees go. So 100 wins, 62 losses.
That's the most wins, right? No, not one. No, it's not. Never mind.
No. Billy Martin is the manager. That year, we know fiery, crazy Billy Martin who plucked Ron LaFleur out of a prison and stuck him in center field. Right. And we'll do an episode on Billy one day too, because he's a crazy motherfucker. I love him, but we'll tear him apart because who cares? He did what he did. So anyway, this year they go 162. This team: Thurman Munson, Chris Chambliss, Willie Randolph, Bucky Dent. That broke the Red Sox heart. Greg Nettles, Roy White, Mickey Rivers, Reggie Jackson. Lou Pinella's on this team, on the bench, for Christ's sake, and he's a great player. Dave Kingman. A lot of guys on this team. Catfish Hunter. Doc Ellis is on this team.
Yeah.
They're stacked. So anyway, they go to the playoffs that year. They beat Kansas City 3-2 that season. And then the next, they go to the World Series to play the Dodgers. And they win 4-2 in that one.
Sure do.
I have that set of DVDs. There's a set they sold it like 10 years ago. All these different World Series DVDs of each game. It's like the original broadcasts. And
what are those like?
Fucking amazing. I think
the camera. Oh, it's so wild.
It's so cool. Game 2, I think there is just a giant. Half the Bronx is on fire outside the stadium. And you can just see plumes of smoke because it's the late 70s in the Bronx. And Howard Cosell's like, well, the Bronx is burning. That's where that came from because he said it on TV. The Bronx is burning, and they showed a fucking camera shot of it, like all this fire happening.
We've got a game for you tonight.
The Bronx is burning, but Mickey Rivers leads off the first. Let's go Yankees. Okay.
Those cameras were so wild to watch. Like And watching that documentary, that A Year in the Life of Crime, they have the same. It's that same time period camera where, like, when the camera moves over light, like the fucking squiggles and shit.
Oh yeah, you get the
lights from the
shit.
the light
like
from the stadium. Yes,
yeah.
The light in the stadium is so awesome.
It's fucking cool. And the first 2 games are in New York, and it's like dark, and it's there's a fire, and it's all this cool shit. And then game 3, they cut to L.A., and it's at like 4:00 in the afternoon, and it's bright, and the sky's blue, and everything looks bright and blue. It's it's so weird to go to that from there. It's so strange.
Night game to day game.
Anyway, this goes 6 games, and this is the famous. It's all famous. These 2 series here, 77, 78. So anyway, this year during the season, he has some tough luck, Ken. He's the team was tied for first place in the American League East, and will eventually win the division over the Red Sox and Orioles. But they bring him in as a starter at first.
Oh,
that doesn't work out. He goes 0-2 with a 7.73 ERA as a starter.
Yikes!
Not good. So they moved him to the bullpen, and that he was good. 2-1 with a 3.40 ERA and 1 save. Okay. So that's really, really good. They had Sparky Lyle then, who was their ace closer. So that was just like if Sparky had pitched a few games in a row, they could throw him in there. So he really didn't have any. Because I remember Sparky talking about him in the book, because there's the Bronx Zoo book that he wrote there. Mm-hmm. So that's a real book. It's not fake. The one that he wrote, Sparky
What's
Lyle.
It called?
Bronx Zoo, I think.
Yeah,
isn't it Bronx Zoo?
Fake at all.
No, it's actually good. So really good. So he ends up, he had 1 loss, and they said the 1 loss was his best performance of the season. Catfish Hunter on June 17th gave up 4 first-inning home runs against the Red Sox.
Oh, my.
4 solo shots. So they brought Clay in because it's mop-up duty now, basically.
At this point, you can't do any damage. We're already in the hole by a lot.
Might as well let the kid get some work,
Yeah.
So Clay ends up holding them scoreless through the 4th, where then the Yankees tie the score, and then the Red Sox score a run after that, giving the loss to Clay, even though he held them in the game.
Poor bastard.
Yeah, because
Catfish ruined this day.
Well, because they tied it while he was pitching. He ends up with the loss now, which sucks. That really sucks when Catfish gave up 4 fucking first-inning homers. Now, something really weird happens to him. I don't know if this has ever happened again, but it's definitely a trivia question. On August 27th, 1977, on consecutive pitches, Ken Clay gives up 2 inside the park home runs on consecutive pitches. I've never, ever seen or heard of that before, ever.
I can't imagine that's even possible.
Even back-to-back batters, never mind just consecutive pitches. That's fucking bonkers. Toby Harrah and Bump Willis hit inside the park home runs that often.
He threw a ball inside the park home run. New guy gets up on the first pitch, does it again.
Same thing. That's unfathomable, right? It's crazy.
You'd want to quit.
What are the odds of that?
That's impossible.
How did I do that? It's in the park. No one can get it and throw it the fuck to somebody, please?
Right.
Jesus
This is on you guys. This really isn't even on me.
Do you understand how rare this is? This doesn't happen. You know how often it happens twice?
I don't know that it's ever happened twice in one game since.
Ever. Yeah, I don't think it. I've never heard of it before. I was shocked when I read that. I was like, that happened ever? Holy shit. He says, though, he was still happy. He says, though, he came up when Catfish Hunter was hurt. That's why they brought him up initially to start, and then they moved him to the bullpen when Catfish came back in. And he said, though, he's happy because he's getting a chance and he doesn't care now, which as long as he gets a chance. Yeah. He said, quote, there are a lot of good players in the minors who should be in the big leagues, but they just never get the chance. He said, quote, you've got a job to do, so you can't think about the crowd and what's going on around you, but there's a lot of pride and tradition involved in playing with the Yankees.
Yeah.
So he's been to their little PR course telling them what to say.
Right.
And he does it. So in that year, he's 2 wins, 3 losses, which for a reliever really doesn't matter what your record is. You don't have a lot of control over your record sometimes. 4.37 ERA in 21 games. He had 3 starts, and he came in relief for the rest of the time, 1 save. He had 20 strikeouts and 24 walks, which is a big problem for a reliever, though. You can't have that. But still.
How many strikeouts?
He only 20 strikeouts and 24 walks. in how many innings? In 55.2 innings.
It's not good.
No, it's not good. It's not great, but the situations they put him in, they see a lot of potential. He's only 23. Right. He came up from the minors this year, so he's a guy you'd like to see what he's got later. Now, the postseason comes around, though. He doesn't play in the ALCS that we talked about against Kansas City, but in the World Series, he does pitch in Game 2, and he ends up, I think, Game 6, he gets an inning or something. Anyway, total of 3.2 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 run, 2.45 ERA. Does a fine job in the World Series, and now he's a World Series champion.
That's a
Look
ring,
at that.
babe.
He's got a ring right now with a fucking a diamond Yankee symbol on it out of nowhere as a rookie. Grace. That's Grace, right? You know it is. It's got to be.
It's a pretty sweet, that's a pretty good start.
Not bad. He made $19,000 that year.
Oh my God, that hurts so bad. Right in the heart. Oh, Jesus. $19,000.
Back then, that was still a livable salary. You could, that wasn't like $19,000 now where you're like, Jesus, I got to start, I got to do DoorDash at night. And this is,
$19,000 champion is not a champion. That's a failure.
But that was his salary. Then you get playoff and World Series bonuses too. Sure. So he ended up probably making more off of that than he did.
Yeah.
There,
and that ring's $4 or $5 grand.
Yeah, in the 60s, the Super Bowl bonus used to be $25,000 a player for the winning team. So it's probably similar in the World Series, if not more. Because baseball was pretty big. So anyway, in the off season now, fluff pieces abound about Ken Clay.
Boy. Yeah.
He's a young up and comer, and especially back home.
Future of the Yankees, yeah.
Oh, they love him. Fluff pieces. Here's one quote. Ken Clay isn't your ordinary professional athlete.
No.
Of course he's not. No? In a day when the going thing in professional sports is multi-million-dollar contracts, squabbles with the press and front office, and life in the public eye, Clay, to steal a phrase, is like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, it's because he has $19 grand. He can't afford to be an asshole.
He bends right over and grabs his ankles and takes it and fucking says, "Thank you, sir. May I have another?" He's fucking great. He says, you see, despite being a member of the world champion New York Yankees and one of the brightest stars on the baseball horizon, he is still a down-to-earth person who has not forgotten where he came from and who has helped him to get there.
Yeah, because he's still there.
Yeah,
he only has $19 grand.
That's what I mean. He's like, listen, do you have a couch I can sleep on for a while? Because I had to pay a lot of taxes, and I bought some other stuff, and I got my mom some furniture. I'm out of money, so you could help me out here. George is being cheap. So they said, blah, 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 down-to-earth person. A native of Lynchburg and a star pitcher for EC Glass High School, Clay recently appeared in Farmville as a special celebrity guest in the Farmville Christmas Parade.
That's an app now.
Yeah, so it's a real place. That's probably where it came from. So he's in the Farmville Christmas Parade. I wonder if that's something in your Farmville games.
Yeah.
Do they even have that anymore? That's like 20 years ago, isn't it?
No, it was only 10 years ago,
10
right?
years ago? So that seems like a long time ago.
Maybe 5 years? I don't know how long.
And it was only if you had a friend, their 75-year-old aunt would be like, do you play Farmville? No.
Can you water my plants?
No. I don't know what you're talking about. What are you talking about, Grandma? I don't understand you.
It was an app on Facebook, right?
No,
it was
I think
an add-on on Facebook? I think so.
Yeah, there was a lot of those back then. People would be posting their shit. Yeah, that too. Oh, the people posting that crap.
I'm so sorry I played that one.
Oh, no, Jimmy.
I apologize.
You were annoying me on Facebook. You were one of the ones?
I wasn't asking anybody to help me. But I definitely did it.
I wasn't asking anybody to help me.
I didn't want anybody to know I was doing it.
Okay, so you do it in private. I don't give a shit what you're doing. The people that were they would spam everybody with requests to help you fucking tend your wheat. And I'm like, get the fuck away from me. I don't know you.
Fuck your carrots.
Fuck your carrots. Fuck your rutabagas. Eat shit and die. So 1977, he also talks about Billy Martin because he says that he emphasizes that he sympathizes. He wanted to emphasize his sympathy with Billy Martin is what he wanted to do. He said, quote, Billy had a tough job because he couldn't afford to lose with all that talent he had. He said, we were embarrassed in Boston when we lost 3 straight, and Billy and Reggie Jackson had that altercation. Did you ever see that?
No.
You never saw Billy Martin try to fight Reggie Jackson in the dugout?
Why would you?
It is the funniest fucking thing you'll ever see in your life.
Billy, you don't.
Oh,
this
Billy
is
Martin
not
will,
even, Billy.
Oh, Billy will fight you. He doesn't care. He'll get his ass kicked, but this is the time when Billy would still go out after the games and get in bar fights and shit. We're talking, he's in his 50s and he's still doing it. Like, Billy set off the Copacabana fucking brawl. Like, that's why he got traded from the Yankees. Billy's all he does is fight. Wow. So Reggie was loafing, from what Billy said, out in fucking right field and missed a ball. So he pulled him off the field. To get the fuck out of here, and pulled him out of the game. So Reggie came in, what the fuck, and Elston Howard had to pick him up off the ground, hold him. Billy's legs and arms were going. He was trying to kill and Reggie's like, are you out of your fucking mind? Like, people are like in front of Reggie, and he's just like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I will kill you, old man. Are you nuts?
You're going to hold me back. Just make sure that little man doesn't get near me.
I am twice your weight, right? What are you talking about, dude? And Billy is legitimately trying to fight Reggie Jackson in the prime of his life. Like,
fight your ankle.
Out of his mind. So he said, then we lost the first 2 in Detroit, and Billy was on the eve of being fired. It reflected bad on him because of all the material he had. He said, with Catfish Hunter's arm problems and all the bickering and all that sort of thing. He said that he felt like a lot of the internal squabbles pulled the team together, though. So that's good for a team sometimes to fight. It brings them.
Yeah, I could see that.
Somehow this team, it worked out as a weird chemistry. He said, we had a lot of former Oakland players on the team, which Reggie and a couple of the other guys there.
Sure.
So the atmosphere in our club was similar to theirs. And I don't think fighting ever helps a team, but I think it pulled us together and made us realize through the hard times that we had to start winning. So 1978, he is hailed as one of the top young pitching prospects coming into spring training. He's the guy to watch out for him. He's going to steal a spot in the rotation from someone. He's the guy. Absolutely. They're looking to get a spot on the opening day roster. He says he talks to the press a little bit, kind of gets himself in the doghouse, saying that he's upset that the Yankees signed a bunch of free agent pitchers because they signed Goose Gossage that year.
Okay.
They signed Andy Messersmith and Raleigh Eastwick. They were going out getting
good pitchers. Yeah,
established free agents. George was willing to spend money there. So he said that they thought that would hurt his chances of making the club to have all these shoe-in pitchers that have guaranteed contracts. Obviously, so that means that Clay would then get some shit from the media, get some shit from the team for being butthurt about it and all that shit. So Catfish has his own take on Ken Clay, though. He said, quote, he's got a great arm, a great slider, and bad brains.
Oh, shit.
Which is pretty fucking cold.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
That is
underhanded, at minimum backhanded. That hurts.
Bad brains, and that's what they all call him, a dumb shit. Everybody calls him an idiot. He felt that the advice he offered to Ken Clay often went unlistened to. He wouldn't pay attention to him.
He's one ear out the other.
He's like, I'm pretty good. You should probably listen to me, and I'm a veteran. And Sparky Lyle, who is, like I said, he won the Cy Young Award the year before in relief. He also said he would offer advice to Clay about his tendency to wear out his arm in practice. Ken would throw like crazy in the pre-games and early in the morning and shit like that. And they said, and then he'd be dead in the game.
He's walking people.
Yeah, he's walking people. His control isn't right. He's wore himself out in practice trying to get. I don't know if he had a certain. I need to be able to do this and feel this way before I'm ready or whatever. But the 78 season, the Yankees go 163 extra game due to the one-game playoff with Boston where Bucky Dent hits the home run. So there you go. That year, though, he gets a chance to start for the Yankees. They're going to maybe let him be a starter. He's been a starter all his life until last year, basically. So he said he started 3 games the year before. He said, I think I'll do better starting. He said, it's hard to be effective when you don't pitch a lot because the stronger you are, the more trouble you have. You try to throw instead of pitch. So, you can't. If you haven't pitched in 10 days, you got way too much pent up. You need to whack it a couple times in between there so you can not fucking
got a tug before the first day.
Yeah, it's too much. You know what I mean? You're going to be way too excited, and that's what he's talking about here. He said, I don't think anybody ever wants to be traded because they had talked about him being traded. He said, I'd like to finish my career here, and the Yankees have always treated me well and have been a first-class operation. So, yeah, he said, please. And the newspaper said, quote, the Yankees would do themselves a favor to keep him.
Oh, so talking him into it.
Yeah, but he's annoying people also. Hal McRae, who's 32 years old, his son is Hal McRae, Brian McRae, all those people. He said after 10 years in the major leagues that he's learned to try not to pay attention to rookies now. He's like, I can't deal with these young guys. He said that he gets annoyed with guys like Brian Doyle, Jim Beattie, and Ken Clay. He's tired of them. He said, quote, I felt like a veteran player in an instructional league. Jesus Christ. There were young kids all over the place, and I didn't know what was going on. It usually doesn't work out that way for kids.
No doubt.
Jesus Christ. That's rough. It's a tough team to join as a kid, though. Yeah. Those are a bunch of fucking wily veterans there. So 78, he has a 4.28 ERA. He's 3-4. So pretty basic. 75 innings pitched. He starts 6 games, but he has 28 appearances, so he's mainly a reliever. His walks and strikeouts, 32 strikeouts, 21 walks. So a little bit better, but still not terrific.
It's not good.
The Yankees here were leading 4-0 when he was called into the first game of the 78 American League Championship Series against the Royals with 1 out and the bases loaded in the 6th inning. And the Royals only got 1 run on a sacrifice fly. So that was that. Then he retired Al Cowens on a ground out to get out of the inning and gave up 1 more run, and then he held them hitless the rest of the way to get the save.
That's a professional.
That's a pro.
They set him up to fail really hard there, too, as a dude that walks people that much.
Yeah.
He still getting out with 1. That's pretty good.
That was going to throw him into the fire and fuck it, see what happens. This season was crazy for the Yankees, by the way. The Yankees this year, Billy Martin started off managing, and now, mind you, Billy won the World Series last year. Yeah. They fire him when he's 52-42.
Yeah.
Well, it's because he's fighting with Steinbrenner. It has nothing to do with the record, because that's just whatever. So then Dick Hauser is 1 game because he was like the interim manager.
Sure.
While they got Bob Lemon over there, who went 48-20 the rest of the way, and the Yankees end up going to the playoffs. They beat the Royals again in the ALCS, and then go to the Dodgers, go to the World Series against the Dodgers, and again beat them in 6. Sure. So, of these World Series, you have the Reggie Jackson 3-homer, Mr. October. You have all that shit. It's a lot going on here.
It's historical.
This whole thing.
And Ken's a part of it?
He's a part of both of these teams, 77 and 78. So it's a lot. They win the World Series that year, too. He makes... How much do you think he makes that year?
$24,000.
$21,000.
My God, that's so painful. The man has not. He made $40,000, and he's part of the 2 of the best Yankee teams ever.
And he's in the same locker room with Reggie Jackson, who's making like over $1 million. He's got a candy bar with his face on it. Like he's fucking paid. He's wearing fur coats and shit.
And he's broke.
Yeah, this guy's like,
Ken's broke.
I just bought a nice 3-year-old Chevy. It's beautiful. I like it a lot, and I'm gonna.
And I need another contract to pay the rest of my lease.
I do have I owe a lot on it. I put like $500 down, and that really hurt. So 79 Yankees here come around, and he said that he's happy that he avoided going back down to the minors over the last 2 seasons, because it's hard when they ship you back and forth from the minors to the majors.
Yeah.
That's difficult. He said it's going on 3 years now, and it seems like 10. They keep telling me I'll get my chance, but with the tradition here of acquiring pitchers, you have to wonder. Sure. So he's starting to get discouraged that he'll ever get his fair shot, as he thinks of it. But when you're on a championship-level team that expects to win every year,
who gives a shit?
Well, they don't have time to bring you along. Sometimes it's not a good situation for a guy who needs to be brought along. Sometimes you need to be on a shit team that knows it's going to be in 5th place and will give you 200 innings and let you work out whatever your problems are.
We need you to be a role person and do what your role is.
Yeah, which is a lot of times the veterans are better at that, because they can, this kid's like, I just want to start. I don't know what I'm doing.
I just want to be a part of the Yankees.
Yeah. Well, the 79 Yankees, if this isn't strange, they finish 89-71 and 71 in 4th place. They don't make the playoffs.
Oh, no.
Bob Lemon was 34-31 when he's fired now, and they bring Billy Martin back. He did this
Billy, we're so sorry.
He did this like 4 times, where he'd fire him and then he'd come back the next season. It's crazy. Him and Steinbrenner have a whole thing back and forth.
Love-hate thing, huh?
For 10 years he did it, yeah. But he knew Billy was passionate and he cared, so he wanted him there, but then he'd drive him nuts and he'd fire him. It was fucking crazy.
Go home, but don't get another job because I may need you.
He'd bring it back the next year. It's fucking insane. So, yeah, Billy's starting to get, a little bit of a complex about the whole thing. And he said that he had a bad night, and he goes, that's the type of year I'm having. He said that he pitched 4 1/3 innings and yielded just 1 run on 4 hits, and he ended up getting a loss for it.
That sucks, man.
Yeah, because I felt good and I didn't want to come out, but with the guys we have doing the job, you have to come in with the team, especially you have to come in with them, especially with the score tied. And he said the problem is I go 10, 15 days, maybe even longer without pitching. Mm-hmm. You can't do that. And then expect to be sharp and game ready. That's crazy. Then I have to maintain my confidence and do the job when I get called on. Not only do you have to be ready, you have to pitch almost perfectly for them to get confidence in you. Right. So you have to sit there for 2 weeks stewing, and then they're like, "Here's your chance, go now." And you're like, "Fuck, this has to be perfect, or else I'm never."
Yeah, go be the best Yankee that you can be.
It's tough. That's really tough. He said, there's no question in my mind that I can win. I haven't done it here because, to be honest, I haven't gotten the chance. I want to start, and I want to start in the major leagues. I have nothing left to prove in the minors. I have to get established in the majors. I can win, especially on a good club. It could be a dream come true. So that's all he wants. He says that he feels really physically strong, and he tries to overpower hitters and winds up rushing his delivery and being out of whack and walking people, and that's his main problem. If he could get in a rhythm where he's pitching every couple days, he'd be a lot better, he said. He said, Jeff Torborg worked with me before the game on relaxing. Remember, he was a manager for the White Sox for a long time.
Torborg, yeah,
Jeff Torborg. He said, on relaxing and laying down the situation. I was in total command of my pitches. I used the slider to set up the fastball and ran it in on people. I just hope this club still considers me a starter. I don't want to be labeled a reliever. Mm-hmm. Well, you've gotten put in the bullpen 3 straight years. So
you're a reliever.
It seems like maybe you're a reliever here. But he thinks he can win. He does. He says, problem is Billy Martin doesn't like him.
Okay.
Bob Lemon was more of a fan than Billy Martin. So, which is funny because Billy Martin's the guy that brought him up from the minors.
Yeah, you picked him.
Had him in the 77 season, put him in a World Series game. He did well. Then when Billy gets fired and comes back, he pretends like these are all Bob Lemon's guys. Anyone who doesn't do well aren't my guys. Those are Bob Lemon's guys. And he tries to distance himself from them.
Even if they were my guys, Bob Lemon has sprinkled all his lemon juice on them, and they're a mess.
He says this, quote, it's not the same bullpen I had.
Yeah. He ruined it.
Yeah. He said that, quote, it's not close. I inherited it. I'm not making alibis. I'm just stating a fact.
Okay.
You put Ken Clay in that bullpen, sir. That is your idea.
Partly yours, yeah.
That is definitely your idea. He said that, he was upset about that. They asked him about Clay's performance after the Yankees had a 5-run first inning. And he said, quote, he was pitching the hitters just the opposite of how he was supposed to pitch them. He wasn't pitching the ball, he was aiming it. Aiming the ball means you take a little off the pitch to get it to a certain spot. It's the worst way in the world to pitch, especially when you're a one-pitch pitcher like he is.
Ouch.
Which is rough because even Catfish gave him credit for his slider.
Yeah.
Before he said his brains are bad, he said he's got a good slider. And a good fastball. Billy won't even give him the good fastball or the slider. One of the two he's taking away.
One of them he likes, the other one he hates.
No shit. So they said the press then went looking for Clay to get a response. Yeah. Hey, Billy says that you're, you're horse shit.
Your manager just said this about you.
Your manager called you horse shit. Response? So
those people are not your friends, Ken. Only assholes will go and tell you what gossip's being said about you.
No shit, really. God damn it. So apparently, when he got pulled out, he left the dugout, even though Billy told him to stay there.
Yeah.
In the dugout. He left anyway, so they're saying he's going to be fined for leaving the dugout. And, he's upset. And then he also says Steinbrenner starts talking now, George Steinbrenner, the owner. Okay. And he says, Clay has continually complained about not getting a chance to pitch, but he has refused any of our suggestions to help his pitching. I've heard people tell me what a great arm he has, but I question his heart.
Oh, my God.
If you're an owner, you never, ever, 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 never say, I question his heart to a player. That's the worst thing you could say. But like, no one wants to play for a guy who questions your heart. That's fucking.
He doesn't want to win. He's got no heart.
Not to the media, anyway. You don't question it. He said,
shit for brains and no heart.
He's heartless, shit for brains. Let's see here. So he's got no heart. I was going to say, if the Cowardly Lion enters into this, he needs to go see the wizard because he's already 2 out of the 3.
Yeah, he's got no courage.
If he can help a little girl get home, we can make this work out. By the way, was Dorothy supposed to be a little girl, or was she supposed to be like 19?
I think she's supposed to be like a 14 to 16-year-old girl.
Okay.
I imagine.
Because as a kid, I always thought of her as like an older I thought of her as like a 20-year-old.
Yeah, right. Like,
yeah. She had boobs. So you were like, oh, she's. Yeah, when you're in the 4th grade, she's not one of us. She's got boobs. So that's an older person.
25 or something, right?
I'm sure, at the time.
Judy Garland?
Yeah. So I always wondered that as a kid. I'm like, how old is she supposed to be? Is this family just weird and they treat her like a child?
I don't think it's ever been mentioned.
Yeah, is she just weird and they treat her like a child? And like, is she mentally? Is she special or something?
Diminished?
Yeah. Like, what's going on?
What's happening?
Yeah,
why does she live with her aunt and uncle? Where's her parents?
Yeah, I want to know a lot of things about Dorothy's backstory, but I'll make it up. Don't worry about it. So back to Steinbrenner. I've heard people tell me what a great arm he has, but I question his heart. In horse racing, we have what we call a morning glory.
What does that mean?
The horse works a great 3 or 4 furlongs in the morning workout and looks sensational. Then when the race comes, he starts sweating during the parade to the post, and when he gets to the gate and the race starts, he stinks the place out. He spits the bit. Then he says, Kenny Clay is a morning glory. He spit the bit. In case you didn't recognize the metaphor I just made, let me tell you an exact. He is a morning glory. He spit the bit. He doesn't have the courage.
There it is.
Wow, that is brutal.
There's the lion.
Wait, no, he wants courage. Yeah, that's crazy. I said he's the scarecrow. He's the fucking there. Now he's the lion too.
He's got no heart. Yeah.
No heart.
The heart's Tin Man,
shit
right?
for brains.
Yeah,
heart's Tin Man.
Heart, brain, courage. All of it.
Shit for brain, courage. That's it. If he wants to go home back to Tennessee, all he wants to do is get back to Lynchburg. That's it. We're done.
He needs a tornado and to wake up.
That's all. Does he have a little dog? I want to know.
Tap your heels, Clay.
So is Billy Martin the Wicked Witch of the West then?
I guess so.
He kind of looks like her. I think Billy Martin is the Wicked Witch then. Oh, my God. So Steinbrenner would definitely be the wizard.
Yeah.
Pay no attention. I'm
Red
huge.
Sox are the flying monkeys.
Yeah. That's fucking funny. So he doesn't have the courage. That may be harsh, but that's the way I feel. He goes on. He goes one good outing and 3 putrid ones. This was putrid. He looks good in the bullpen, but he gets on the mound and he chokes. No heart, doesn't have the courage. He chokes. So you're getting in his head. If his head isn't already fucked up, it's fucked up now.
Oh my God! You're telling me he can't play.
Then he says he gets 5 runs and he does that to his teammates. He's even doing that. I can't accept that. He's one of the biggest disappointments I've had since I've had the Yankees.
Unbelievable.
Imagine you're a 25-year-old guy and the owner of the New York Yankees just absolutely called you the biggest pile of shit that you could be.
And you got to go out and play the Orioles tomorrow night.
That's hideous. That's just terrible. You can't do that to. You could ruin a kid like that.
It's certainly not team building.
It's fucking terrible. This is also not out of Steinbrenner's normal range here. He, do you remember in 1999 he called Hideki Arabu?
No.
Hideki Arabu, the Japanese pitcher he brought in, he said, quote, "He looks like a fat pussy toad."
Oh. Say again?
A fat pussy toad is what he said he looked like.
Said that to the press?
To the press. Quote, unquote. He looks like a fat pussy toad. Can't believe I spent this much money on him, is what he went on to say after that about him. What a piece of garbage he was.
Wow.
So that's what Steinbrenner's like.
I think I may start using that, though.
Fat pussy toad. He'll pay you a fortune, more than anyone else, but you got to take some heat.
You will be called a fat pussy toad.
Yeah.
In print.
Arabu did do one of the greatest things I've ever seen in charging the plate, which is rare. He beamed a guy with the ball, threw it at him in his back, and by the time the guy turned his back and he turned to take the ball in the back, by the time he turned back around, Arabu was attacking him. He threw it and just followed the ball in, running at the guy to beat him up. It was fucking hilarious. You don't see that very often. Catcher didn't know what to do. He was like, holy shit.
So who threw the ball?
Arabu. He threw it and charged.
And ran.
And charged.
He didn't charge the mound.
Yeah.
He charged the
plate.
Home plate.
Yeah. He threw the ball and just ran. He didn't stop with that. He threw it and just kept running at the batter.
I don't think I saw that.
So the batter got a ball and then a Japanese man jumping on him.
Japanese pitcher.
Quickly. In quick succession. Bang, bang. A fat pussy toad, mind you. But at least he clearly has the courage and the heart.
That's the least pussy move I've ever heard of.
Maybe that's why he did it later.
He threw a ball at and then charged a man holding a weapon. That's incredible. That's the toughest man I've ever heard of.
It's fucking crazy. Well, I guess that's how you have to do it if the guy has a bat. Or you could just wait till he doesn't have a bat. Fight him without any weapons. There's also that. Could just walk him and then attack him on the way to first base.
That is the least pussy thing ever.
It's pretty crazy. It's funny to watch. So that year, not shockingly, while his manager and owner are ripping him to shreds in the press.
Yeah.
So when they do that, now he's got, you know how many newspapers are in New York in the 70s?
Oh, my God.
20 of them. Now he's got 20. He's got 20 guys standing around him with cigars in their mouth going, so what do you think about your boss calling you a pussy? And he said you have no heart and no courage. Your manager has no faith in you. What do you think about that? And he's like, fuck, I don't know. That's brutal. So that year he goes 1-7, unsurprisingly, with a 5.40 ERA.
With a crowd chanting fat pussy toad.
Fat pussy toad. He's got no heart. He's got no brain. He's got no courage, and he's fucking lame. Pop, 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 pop. And they just keep going.
People holding up ruby slippers.
Waving them, throwing them at him. When he has a bad outing and he gets pulled, they throw ruby slippers at him. Not in celebration.
No place like home.
There's no place like home. Send him home. Send him home. 28 strikeouts, 25 walks. Just not great. 78 innings pitched. Just not good stuff. Makes $21,000 again.
Oh, he is a failure.
It's bad stuff.
He's the biggest failure ever with 2 championship rings.
Right? He's got it, and he feels like dog shit. So the next spring he comes in, and he says, new year. It's a new, I'm good
new year,
now.
New me, yeah.
New year, new me. He said he arrived in camp talking about the maturity and the confidence, and he's been working on an off-speed pitch in the off-season. He was pitching down in Puerto Rico in the Winter League, and he was
breaking ball,
working on his off-speed pitch to get guys off balance so he's harder to hit. He said that he's going to prove that he should be pitching regularly and starting in the majors. And his first 3 innings in the Yankees B squad game of spring training.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous. In the paper, they go, yesterday brought Clay his first test. He flunked. Pitching in the first 3 innings in the Yankees B squad game against the Braves B team, the 1980 Ken Clay was all too similar to the 1979 Ken Clay. He allowed both runs in a 2-1 loss. He allowed 2 hits, walked 2, and struck out none. And he was satisfied.
And he smiled about it.
Because I know this, I talked to Rod about this a lot. In the spring, unless you're trying to make the team and you're a rookie and they don't know who you are, if you're on the team, all you're trying to do is be able to throw the ball over the plate. You don't give a shit if they hit it over the wall every time. It's the spring. You're like, I'm just getting my arm in the right slot, getting my release point right, all my mechanics correct in a game situation, trying to get it over the plate. I don't give a fuck about anything else. A lot of times they don't even throw breaking balls for the first few outings of spring because they don't even bothering with it. They just want to get their fastball.
Make sure I get the ball where it needs to be.
He's fighting they're saying there's going to be 10 pitchers, and he's probably the number 9 man. So he's fighting at the bottom, and Dave Righetti's trying to make the team, who ends up making the team and he throws a no-hitter in 1981, or 82, I don't remember. So he does well, and then becomes their closer for years. And I think didn't he manage the Giants for a while? I know he was a pitching coach there. Either way, I don't know. Clay said that he did not seem displeased by it. Quote, 2 criticisms of Clay are that he's usually satisfied too easily and that he rationalizes his failures.
Yeah, but
that's what you do when you're a reliever.
Yeah, right. That's the game.
As soon as that ball clears the wall and that guy hits the walk-off home run, that never happened anymore, or else you're fucked.
You dwell on that, this game's over.
Next day, you have to come in and go, I don't know what you're talking about. I had a great game yesterday. Fuck you. Like, that's what you do, period. And Rod told me that, too. So I know that for closers. He said that if it was important, if it was about the game they said he flunked the big test. He said if it was important, nobody told me. I was most interested in being comfortable, getting used to throwing batters in a game again, and I did that. Exactly what you do. He said I pitched well. Over here, he said I finished the second half 2-3. He's talking about the last year. I had about 5 or 6 no decisions. I don't think I allowed more than 2 runs in any game in those no decisions. So he's talking about all this shit. He said, I think I've really matured as a pitcher. I've learned to change speeds, which is something I have never mastered in the past. I have a better idea of how pitching within my means is and not trying to overthrow. And pitching with that, with what I have on that day. I think I've really learned that now. I think it's going to make me a better pitcher. I'm looking forward to this year because I'm really throwing well. So he's ready. And that's true, too. If your curveball's not working that day, you don't still throw the curveball on a fucking, important count. Because that's not working that day. You do what's working.
I don't have that right now, and leaving it out there is too much.
Yeah, exactly.
The opportunity for them to smash it. I still want to keep this game and my job.
And your job.
Right.
He said, I could have pitched more innings, maybe 5 or 6, and the more I pitched, the better I would have done. I tend to concentrate more when I get tired, which is normal for everybody. So there's a lot of people talking a lot of shit about him, though, still. He says, I expect they'll have me doing the same thing I did this year as I did last year. Some middle inning relief, some short relief, maybe even some starts. But I know I'm not going to be a good relief. I know I'm never going to be a good relief pitcher. I'm almost 26, but I'm too young to be a mop-up pitcher. I shouldn't be a short reliever because I'm not a strikeout pitcher. I get my outs on ground balls. Last year, the ground balls went through. Which is true. If you're got grounders and they go up the middle, well, that's not really, I got them to hit it on the ground. A lot of luck involved in that. I came here a better pitcher than I've ever been because of that new pitch. He says, but it probably won't make that much difference. George Steinbrenner wants to win. So he wants the big name pitchers to pitch. So I won't. It probably doesn't matter how well I pitch down here. There's not going to be a chance for me unless someone gets hurt. Mm-hmm. Yikes. He said they always go after the free agent pitchers. I didn't get a chance even when other guys got hurt. They brought up another guy and let him start. I should have just had the chance. I know Ron Guidry's pitching well now and making money, but if I would have lost the first 2 times they gave me a chance, like I did, he'd be in the same position I'm in now.
Sure.
So that's what he's saying. They would have talked all the shit to him in the world. He said after that, he ends up starting the beginning of the season. He does not start on the opening day roster, gets sent down to the minors.
Ouch.
At this point, he's a 4A guy.
Yeah.
Too good for AAA, not quite a great major leaguer. Yeah. So anyway, he's hoping he does better. Then he's in the minors still, and on August 14th, 1980, the Yankees trade him to the Texas Rangers for Gaylord Perry.
No kidding.
Yeah, who was old as shit at that point, but still. Ken says, when I got to New York in 77, I got there not because of bad circumstances, but because of an injury. I pitched frequently in 77 when I got called up. Then after the injuries, of course, those guys went back into the rotation, and I began to sit around. The longest period of time I sat was 58 days without pitching in a game.
Holy shit.
That's 2 months. You can't do that and then expect to be sharp. When I went to the big leagues, I felt like I was really ready to be there. I was ready to step in and pitch, but I didn't because, number one, there was no room, and number two, the Yankees have never been an organization to put rookies out on a test. You have to prove yourself to pitch for them. So I sat there for about 3 years. In 79, I had a bad year. In 80, there wasn't enough room on the roster for me, so I was outrighted to Columbus and then traded to Texas. I never really got an opportunity to pitch in New York. Then they said, do you think it was because George Steinbrenner soured on you?
Right.
And he said, quote, I don't think George Steinbrenner really soured on me. Really?
Really?
He called you a gutless punk in the fucking paper. He basically said, Ken Clay's a bitch. He's a bitch ass.
How much? Do you need him to call you a fat pussy toad for you to get it?
He said he had no courage. I'd rather be called a fat pussy toad.
Yeah.
That sounds like it's off the top of his head. He called me morning glory, spit the bit, fucking gutless. I have no heart, no courage, godless, gutless, brainless,
the most
dickless.
Embarrassment Yankee of his career. Like, what?
Godless, gutless, brainless, dickless, pitchless shithead. We're not going to have him on our team. I wish that could be the title of the show.
God damn it, where's the Tylenol?
God damn it, where's the Tylenol?
Called him everything under the sun.
That's exactly what it was. So, he said, though, he could do it. He said he's going to be good. He said that George didn't sour on me. He said a lot of things that, and then he just trailed off. He didn't know what to say.
I forgot about all those things.
And then he comes back with, I pitched in the 77 and 78 series, which is not the question. I saved game 1 of the 78 playoffs and pitched effectively in the series also. That's when George was really giving me the buildup. I was finally peaking. In 78, when we were going down to the wire, we came 14.5 back. The big pivotal game was in Toronto. Ron Guidry got beat the first game, and I came back and won the second. I think that put us 1 game up with about 6 to play. Of course, George really loved that. Finally, Ken Clay has done something for George. So George was building me up. Then after the playoffs in the series, in 79, it was, oh boy, I can't wait to see him in the spring. Well, in that spring, I don't do anything. That was the first year I sat for 58 days without pitching. There was no way I could go out and pitch the way I wanted to. So he said he's happy to go to Texas. He said I was ready to leave New York because I couldn't see myself going any further there. I wasn't getting a chance to pitch, and I wasn't getting any younger just sitting there.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. We're going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles.
A big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud.
Sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.
Have you ever gotten a message out of the blue? Maybe you ignore them. Or maybe you end up in conversation. Maybe they tell you about an amazing offer.
I can really show you how to make some money.
And maybe that gets you into a lot of trouble. But this isn't a story about people like you, the people receiving these messages. This is a story about the people behind the messages, on the other end of the line. Thousands of them, working in a microcity built for scammers. From Wondery, the makers of Dr. Death and Kill List, comes Scam Factory, a new series about survival at the expense of others. Follow Scam Factory on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Scam Factory early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts.
Fair enough. Yeah. Rangers that year are really shitty. 75 and 86, or 76 and 85 here. I'll give you their lineup. You tell me how many guys you can tell me anything about. Right. There's a couple that I know of, but Jim Sundberg, Pat Putnam, Bump Willis, he hit a back-to-back walk-off. Pepe Frias, Buddy Bell.
Yeah.
Remember him? White hair.
So.
Man, he looked like
at some point?
I think later on. He looked like Playboy Buddy Rose kind of, but in better shape, the wrestler. I had my cousin Jesse had a Buddy Bell model fucking baseball glove when we were kids. I was like, Buddy Bell model? What the fuck are you doing? Al Oliver.
On sale, obviously.
Had to have been. Yeah. Al Oliver, who was on the Pirates, I know. Later. Mickey Rivers, they got him from the Yankees. Their center fielder. Johnny Grubb and Richie Zisk.
Neither.
Yeah, that's their starting lineup. So they also...
What?
Yeah, that's their starting 9. They also have Fergie Jenkins out there, too, but he's he's 37 at this point, so they don't have like young Fergie Jenkins here. They got an old Ed Figueroa. Not too great. Like I said, team isn't that terrific. And he's 2-3 is his record, a 4.60 ERA. He starts all 8 games he plays in. He has 17 strikeouts, 29 walks. Not good. Not good. December 12th, 1980, traded by the Rangers here with
They've
the guy
already given up.
That's it. Half a season done. Not even a month and a half done. Traded with Steve Finch, Brian Allred, Rick Auerbach, Jerry Don Gleaton, and Richie Zisk to the Seattle Mariners for Larry Cox, Rick Honeycutt, Willie Horton, not the one who from the campaign ads in the 88 election, a different Willie Horton, Mario Mendoza, and Leon Roberts. A huge trade of minor leaguers and garbage
shit for shit. Yeah.
Relief pitchers. So in 81, he's with Seattle. He's going to do great. He said it's a good organization. It's not the New York Yankees or the Texas Rangers. It's a young organization, and they're building. They just need the right type of people behind it to run the show. I've gotten a lot out of baseball. Now I'm in baseball to see what kind of accomplishments I can achieve. I've never really had the type of year I thought I've been capable of having. So the Seattle Mariners, this is a strike-shortened year, by the way, too, 81. They go 44-65 that year.
44-65?
Yeah, 44-65.
Ouch.
Not that good. Here's their starting 9 here. Jerry Naron, Bruce Bochy, not Bruce Bochy, the manager, different guy. Okay. Julio Cruz, Jim Anderson, Dan Meyer, Tom Pasiorek, Joe Simpson, Jeff Burrows, Richie Zisk.
Heard of zero except for Richie Zisk, and that's only because I know
he was on the
10
last
minutes ago.
From the last fucking team.
Yeah.
This is not a good team.
Yeah.
Bud Black is one of the pitchers. He's a San Francisco Giants guy later on. Anyway, not very good. He goes 2-7 with a 4.63 ERA.
Yikes.
That's what he does. He's a mid-4s ERA guy. Yeah. That's what you're getting. He starts 14 games, but he pitches in 22, so they move him to the bullpen too. When Seattle moves you to the bullpen in the early 80s, you know you're not doing well. He gives up 116 hits in 101 innings, which is way too many. 32 strikeouts, 42 walks. Dude.
Oh, no.
Can't do that. So 1982 spring training here. He ends up 1982 spring training. He's coming along here, and he's ready to do it. He says 82 is the year. It's his. This is it. He's finally ready. And what ends up happening is they cut him in the spring. And rather than trying to latch on with a new team, he just says, fuck it, I'm done, and retires.
Probably smart.
Retires at like 27. Done.
Yeah.
That's it. Done.
I mean, he walks more than he throws strikes, so consistently. You got
Gives
2
up.
rings. You could quit. It's
But
all
guys
right.
like Matt Bush went to jail and then threw in a fucking Golden Corral parking lot to get their shit back. This guy's like, fuck it, this is hard. Try harder. This is a career. You try harder. Double down. We didn't have a lot of listeners when we started. We tried harder, and we ended up, making it work.
He's literally made $80,000 though in his career in baseball.
Has not done well.
No.
And we'll find out. He's got a job on the side and everything that he's working in the off season and stuff because he doesn't make a lot of money. But yeah, I can't believe he retired. I'm shocked about that. I really am.
I mean, maybe he was told by somebody that it's probably over.
I can't imagine, though. Somebody wouldn't have given him a minor league deal. I mean, he's been in the majors for the last 5 years. Somebody would take a flyer on him and sign him to a minor league deal. I just don't think he wanted to deal with it anymore.
No, maybe not. Maybe also he couldn't stomach the embarrassment of failing.
Maybe. At least these owners weren't talking shit about him. That's helpful. Either way, I mean, it's crazy the way it works out, but not as crazy as the sales, Jimmy, that are going on at this time. This is actually from 1977. I found some sales here.
Okay.
But I put it here, so who gives a shit? Anyway, if you happen to be in 1977 in New York City, reading the New York Daily News, these are the ads you're going to find.
In the Daily News.
Daily News. New shipment just arrived of 77 Ol's Cutlass Supremes.
Oh.
$5,159, brand new. Air conditioning, auto, power steering, brakes, the whole deal.
Imagine buying a brand new car for $5,000.
$5,000 out the door. So there's that. I found you can get a Dodge, like seriously Dodge molester van, like a real one, a 77
with the bubble window. Yeah.
B200 molester van.
Hell yeah.
$4,444 for that. Those things are like 30 grand now, by the way.
Yeah.
They're so expensive. Then you can drive your van over to this disgusting movie theater and see these horrible movies that I found. So many. There's a couple regular ones in here, but so many fucking porn movies here.
From 77?
One is called Cry of a Prostitute.
What?
That's the name of it. And the quote is, being a hooker never stopped me from being a woman. I mean, Cry of the Prostitute. From what it looks like, being a hooker never stopped me from being a woman. And when you look at the poster, it's a guy. It's like kind of drawn here. Well, roll your fucking chair over. I'll show it to you. What am I doing that for? Just move over 3 feet. Here, check him out. So he's got his shirt off and like looking the other way, sad. And she's like behind him, like, wait, like it's almost like, but I love you, like just because I'm a prostitute doesn't mean I can't fall in love and, have a relationship. I think that's what we're going for here.
It's supposed to be the first Pretty Woman.
And then it says, plus second feature. Yeah, I think it's a Pretty Woman. Plus second feature, cry rape. It says exciting second feature, cry rape. That sounds awful. I don't want to see that.
Both of those sound bad.
It says it boldly explores abnormal behavior. Okay, yeah, I would say. Also, you can go see the Grateful Dead concert experience, where you go to the movies and watch a Grateful Dead concert. I found a burlesque show here that shows adult films in the background for only $3. You can see people dancing and all sorts of shit like that.
New York was horny in the 70s.
Oh, super horny. And right under that, connected to it, here, I'll show you here. Roll back over here. You have Girls, 4 burlesque shows daily, plus adult films right under it. Bad News Bears and Breaking Training. So you can see both, I don't know. Get a good laugh in afterwards.
See some porno or Walter Matthau.
Oh, my God. That's fucking amazing. And then, what is this? That's some other, I never even heard of that movie. Let's get to some more porn. Claudia. I don't know what that is. The most accomplished adult film I have ever seen. That's from Man's World magazine. The most accomplished adult film I've ever seen, Man's World magazine. I shit you not. I told you nothing else will be made up the rest of this episode here. It even says super quality X adult film. It's playing all over the place.
High definition pussy in 77. Let's go.
Yeah. This is 35 millimeter, another 16 millimeter fucking snatch. We're doing it right. Then there's a big one they're really excited about James Bond, The Spy Who Loved Me. I never saw that.
Yeah.
But Liz Smith from Cosmopolitan called it, this movie is Jaws, The Deep, and Star Wars, all wrapped up into one. Wow. Here's one, Sylvia, it's called. And it says 7 women in the body of one. What? So it's like Sybil, except Sylvia. Let's see what it says here. Dynamic scenes, somebody said in one of the reviews here. A triumph, unsurpassed, from a guy named T.J. Roberts writing for Action for Men. Sure, he's done as Hollywood could never do it and as TV would never do it. Gripping. That's from some guy from Elite magazine.
And this is a porno or not?
Yeah, it's a porno. Yeah, it's an absolute porno. It's at the Pussycat Cinema on Broadway and 49th Street. Fucking Broadway and 49th Street back then. And this is the X couples theater, they call it. It's the X-rated couples theater. Then my favorite, from a guy writing for High Society.
Yeah.
You got to write for them. Dynamite Entertainment. That is from R. Danzig from High Society.
Wow.
Like the band, same spelling. So, one more thing here. You can also go see Joy.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that? It's a comical farce which upgrades the genre. Bright, imaginative, titillating entertainment for couples. See it. So it's like light porn for couples. Like your wife won't mind seeing this. It's Buster's fucking.
This might get her introduced to the genre, and you might have a real freak on your hands.
She might go, some ladies like it in the butt. I don't know. Let's watch and see how it goes. Maybe she'll like it.
See if she enjoys.
Let's do it. And then finally, an ad for Kentucky Fried Movie, which is just fucking great. That's
really?
Yeah, an ad for Kentucky Fried Movie. Fuck yeah. A bright and funny film, the first-class contemporary comedy anthology of recent years designed for the thinking man. Bawdy good humor. That's from the New York Post. So,
okay.
You ever seen Kentucky Fried Movie?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
How'd you? That's one of those things that just as like a comedy liking person of our age, we like anybody older would have showed. That's like
I've heard of it, of course, but I've never
I had a cousin.
Who's in it? Anybody in it?
It doesn't matter. No? It's like a bunch of different like sketches and commercials. It's like a bunch of weird stuff crammed into a movie.
Maybe I'll find it and see if I have watched it because I've seen Heavy Metal and all those dumb things.
What is it? Teenage college girls in trouble or college something in trouble, and they show these. It's fucking ridiculous. It's a bunch of ridiculous sketches. It's everybody has a cousin that's a few years older than you that was like, you have to see Kentucky Fried Movie.
I'm sure my uncle made me watch it.
Absolutely.
He made me watch a bunch of Steven Seagal bullshit.
Oh no, this is
when that was like a thing.
No, this is good. He wouldn't have made you watch it. This is like this was considered like kind of cutting edge at the time. Like you know what I mean. Now I don't know how it would fly, but
I used to watch Steven Seagal and every Gallagher special. And,
God,
yeah,
Jesus.
Yeah, he loved that stuff.
Gallagher? Just smash fruit and yell?
He thought he was... he thought he was...
Big Howie Mandel fan, too? I hope he puts that thing on his head and blows it up. Boy, that is funny.
No, he thought Gallagher was smart.
Oh, well...
He liked Gallagher's theories on the universe and shit.
Oh, my God. Well, you know what? He did make a career out of fucking putting watermelon all over people, so that is pretty smart. I got to be honest with you. I couldn't do that.
While jumping on a giant trampoline or a giant couch that was a trampoline. That's what it was, right?
Fucking terrible, man. God, he sucked. He really sucked. He really sucked.
He made a fuckload of money.
Oh, yeah. So much so that he retired and sold it.
He gave it to his brother or whatever.
Remember that Chappelle Show sketch of Black Gallagher where he's like, and then he sold it to this guy. That was funny. So anyway, Ken Clay, while he was retiring from sports and while, all this, he's been working the whole time for a company. And he goes full time for this company in September 1984.
What
he becomes it is Jostens or Jostens, Jostens.
Oh, the ring maker.
Exactly. I was going to say those shitty class ring catalogs that you get, and you go, yeah, like my parents are going to pay $100 for me to fucking say I went to this high school. Yeah, okay.
They
Good
also
luck with that.
make the Yankees ring. They make
tons of
rings for everybody. Yeah,
yeah, absolutely. But these, I guess he was a part-time salesman. I think he was selling them to schools and shit. So
imagine you're sitting there in high school and in walks a World Series champion and you got
wearing it, two of them.
You have no idea that he only has $80,000.
You have no idea how bad he needs this job.
Right.
He's not doing this for fun or like to get out of the house. He's doing this to eat food.
He's doing this for the commissions.
But I think it would help if you're like, yeah, the rings look kind of like this, and you flash two fucking Yankees World Series rings. Yeah, you can get them like this. You've seen this type of ring? They're going to be like, holy shit, you're awesome, and they'll buy rings from you.
That?
So, yeah, September 84, he becomes full-time distributor for that, doing it out of Bloomington, Minnesota. That's where the place is based out of. From 1986, seems like he's having some money problems because I see that he had a house in Arizona, actually, which a lot of people did, a lot of baseball players, because spring training was there.
Right.
He's had spring training
Rangers,
with Texas and Seattle.
Yep.
So a lot of guys buy houses. They were super cheap to buy back then too. These houses, so in Phoenix. So here, this is from a newspaper in Arizona. He on debts of $82,736 and assets of $8,275. He's getting some I guess bankruptcy, Chapter 7. I feel like.
Do we have an address of the house? I want to know where it is.
7917 East Colette Circle.
Oh,
Colette.
Yeah, that's a nice area.
It's probably in the East Valley because that's where all the stadiums were back then. So I assume it's in Tempe or fucking.
That sounds like Scottsdale, babe.
Yeah, Scottsdale, Tempe.
Yeah,
that was garbage back then, though. Nobody cared about that in the in the 80s. That was still North Scottsdale was good. South Scottsdale is it's still full of strip clubs. What are we talking about? It's still disgusting. So he's working for the ring company. And then in 1986, he has some problems when he's arrested and facing up to 20 years in prison.
What?
He's arrested on 4 counts of grand larceny for stealing $30,000 from Jostens Inc.
What?
He's just fucking stealing from them, dude. He's just straight stealing.
He just opened the register?
Stealing. Yeah, he's indicted on 4 counts of grand larceny. He surrendered to the police after being indicted. He's released on a $10,000 personal recognizance bond. He wouldn't make any comment on the way out of court. They said that he deposited money from class ring sales into his personal account rather than in...
My God.
Because they were back then, the people were paying cash. And He'd have like a bank envelope. He just went and put it in his bank and didn't, instead of fucking giving it to the company like he was supposed to.
That is blatant.
Blatant embezzlement. That's not even like I'll make a paper that makes it look different. Where's that cash? Gone.
Wow.
He just was straight stealing it and must have been doing it for a while. So... yeah, he did all of that. A state police special agent in charge of investigations said an investigation followed a complaint by the company that they had a bunch of money missing. And the indictments charged that he took the money between September 7th, 1984 and February 24th, 1986.
So a year and a half.
He didn't do like a big score. He was doing like, I need a few bucks this week or something. I'll give a couple $100 here, a few $100 there type of shit, stealing
and they
money.
won't notice.
I guess. Yeah, but that's just more notice. Christ.
Yeah.
It's easier to get away with something once than, a little thing 150 times, So anyway, that's what he did. So he goes to court, and Virginia prosecutors cut a deal with his attorneys here that will keep him out of prison. Okay. He could have been sentenced to 20 years in prison on each of two counts of grand larceny.
Wow.
So that was the possible there. But because he's had he's a professional baseball player and all this, he's never really been in trouble before. They looked at all of Steinbrenner's quotes about him. They're like, he's been through enough, goddammit, this poor bastard. He's been through so much. Instead, he is told by the court, you, sir, may pay $15,000 in restitution. Not really, fuck off.
Yeah.
That's what he ended up pleading guilty to. The company kind of cut the losses and said, if he'll plead guilty to the 2, then we'll drop the other 2 and we'll make it whatever. So they took the rest as a loss. Plus, he has to pay $1,394.64 in court fees.
Yeah.
And he gets 1,000 hours of community service.
Oh, no.
That's a lot of community service. Jesus Christ.
What is that? If you did 40 hours a week, that is a long time.
10,
20.
That's 30, 25 weeks of 40 hours a week.
That's
half
6
a year.
months.
6 months of a full-time job.
Holy shit. They got to give away.
I think they want to keep him busy for a couple of years is what it is, because he also is given 5 years of supervised probation as well.
Wow.
So I think they want it to be like that's what he does when he comes home from work, is he does a few hours of community service.
Well, that's what happens when you steal $30,000 from somebody.
If you're a pitcher and a World Series champion, I mean, you can go show some kids how to pitch and run some clinics. And I mean, it's not like he has to pick trash off the street.
Right.
That could be his community service.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. That'd be cool. You could pass your knowledge along. That'd be kind of nice to do, I would think, unless you're a total schmuck. So also gives him, you, sir, may fuck off, 4-year suspended sentence as well.
No kidding.
So he's got the probation and a suspended sentence. So any fuck ups, he is like in prison immediately, is the way the judge set it up. So 1989, trying to keep out of trouble, he joins the Senior Pro Baseball Association.
What is that?
Which we've talked about it before. It's old guys who don't play in the league anymore who are starting their own league. It's like a 40 and over league.
Thing. Yeah.
Yeah, except that it's not 40 because he's not even 40 yet.
Right.
So
he's a child still.
He's still in his 30s here. So he's 36 at the 35 right now. I guess there was 8 original franchises. He signs with the Gold Coast Suns in Florida.
Okay.
They've split their home games between Miami and Pompano Beach, Florida. Earl Weaver managed the Suns.
Awesome.
Which is fucking...
He's a bad man.
Amazing. Yeah, we've gone over that plenty.
Yeah.
And Earl immediately hired Pistola Pete Ramos as their pitching coach. Told you he'd come into this, Pistola Pete. Pedro fucking Ramos there they bring in as their pitching coach. And then... they also had Joaquin Andahar, who went 5-0 that year. Bert Campaneris was 47 playing every day in the league and hit .291 and stole 16 bases in 60 games.
How much
47.
does Bert love baseball?
Fuck, he's got to love it. The team averaged 985 fans per game.
What?
That's not good. We draw better than that. Both our shows this weekend had more people than that. Each. That's bad.
Oh my!
We're a podcast. You have a bunch of guys throwing baseballs hard and hitting them like that's crazy.
You've worn major league licensed uniforms.
Yeah, you had a uniform on. This is fucking crazy. But so that was about half of the attendance that was projected by the investors.
Yeah.
So the league ends up folding at the end of the season.
Yeah.
And Ken never threw a pitch.
Not one.
Never threw a pitch. They signed him. He never quite made it. Just busy. A lot of stuff going on. We found out what he was doing in the meantime anyway.
Yeah.
He is working for a Virginia car dealership. He's working for McQuaid Pontiac GMC in Forest, Virginia.
Fuck.
Yikes. Yeah, he was, Jesus Christ. Unfortunately, though, he's the finance and business manager there.
Really?
Or finance and insurance manager for the dealership.
You got a guy convicted of embezzlement and put him on your finance team. Holy fucking what?
They didn't know that, by the way.
They had no idea.
No clue he was a fucking on probation. No clue he was embezzler. Nothing. They just were like, hey, you were on the Yankees and have World Series rings? Wow.
Run our finance department. Do you mind? Do you have some free time?
Literally what it was. And you look nice in a tie. This is terrific.
Holy
Come on in.
Shit.
So he ends up, of course, being arrested for grand larceny.
Yeah, it's hard to take all that money to the bank when you're a criminal.
Well, he's convicted. This is fucking disgusting. For using a customer's money for his own use rather than for a warranty she thought she was buying.
What?
He took the extra money she paid for a warranty and just skimmed it off the top. She got no warranty. And then when her car was fucked up, she came in and they were like, you don't have a warranty. She said, I have a receipt. I paid for a warranty.
Give it
and
right to this guy.
Ken put it in his fucking bank account.
Unbelievable.
How crazy is that, man? You can't do that.
What a terrible move.
He is convicted of stealing $551.76.
$550, man.
And 76 cents, bro. That's just
a scumbag move.
Is that a compulsion at that point?
It's got to be for the fun, right?
I would imagine so. It has to be. You have to do it. That's why I said his fake childhood really would line up with his real adulthood. It really would.
Shaking everything down.
Maybe that's what really happened. We don't know. Maybe I nailed it. It's as good. You know what? That's what really happened. There you go.
Yeah,
no, it's
got to
not what
be.
really happened. But still, that was satire, everybody. You cannot be upset or say it was libelous. There you go. We are comedians. I said it was funny. Anyway.
I said it was funny.
Whether it's funny or not, I meant it to be. That's what that means. So you don't have to like it for it to be satire. Anyway, so the judge says, well, this can't be doing this. You're on probation. You, sir, may fuck off for real this time. 1 year in prison. How's that?
No kidding.
Yeah. Let's slide those World Series rings off that you surely have sold by now. And
boy.
Let's go to prison. So he's serving his time. While serving his time for this year, it is found out from his probation officers that he has been lying to them. His probation officers in this case don't know about his other cases, and he didn't tell them.
Yeah.
He has a grand larceny conviction for which he's on probation. Never told them about that. He also has two DUIs in the last 3 years that he didn't tell them about. Convictions for fucking DUI.
Yeah.
Doesn't tell them about that either. So the probation officers, he's already spending a year in Bedford County Jail here, and now he has to pay for this now. The probation officers from Charlottesville said that since November 1988, he withheld information about 3 arrests from them. This is a violation of his probation, and he is given an additional, you, sir, may fuck off 3 years in prison for that. So now it's 4 years. He gets out of Bedford, and he has to go serve 3 more down where the fuck he came from.
Fed time.
Yeah. So he's fucked. He just fucked himself hard. How hard can you fuck yourself, bro? That is just...
He's good at it.
He's fucking good at it. I mean, it's ridiculous. I don't even know what to do.
The cry of a prostitute.
Yeah. He doesn't know what to do. He has no idea what to do. He goes to prison. He does 3 years in prison because he does almost his whole year down there, and then he ends up doing close to 2 for his probation violation. They wanted him to pay for that shit.
Really feel it.
He moves out, and he gets out of prison and moves down to Bradenton, Florida.
Uh-oh.
Where all the convicted felons go, I assume.
I've heard a lot of Bradenton stories.
Oh, yeah. Oh, big time. Yeah. Well, here he said it's a new start. I'm good now. New start. He said, when I get on this plane, I'm going to be like Sinatra. I'm going to take that big bird and I'm going to fly. I'm going to take off, and it's like it never happened before.
Yeah.
You know, I'm good. I'm fine. Good now. So he gets all his luggage. He's ready to go, and he's walking through the airport. And who does he run into, Jimmy? Swinging his Popeyes. Who's he run into? Adam, the arugula lover, Pac-Man Jones. Arugula connoisseur.
Yeah.
And he says, how is it you've come to arrive here? I don't understand, see, because you were clearly helping a lady out, is what you were doing. She's giving you this money for this warranty, which you know is not a good value. That's what it is. See, so you're putting it in what I can understand as an escrow for her for another time. So that way, when she came back and said, my car's broken, you can be like, well, I have this escrow money. You can get it fixed. So, the system is set up against you, is what I mean. And with your whole everything, it's wrong.
Rigged, yeah.
From Steinbrenner down. I'm sorry. This is crazy. Sir, take my Popeyes and hit the nearest person. I can't take it anymore. I have to go. Poof. In a puff of arugula, he's gone. And Ken is holding some Popeyes and very confused. He has no idea. There's leaves falling to the ground through the smoke.
As long as he didn't get it at a turnpike, it'll be all right.
But he did say it smells delicious, and he begins to eat it right then, because who the fuck wouldn't? It smells so good. So he's down there. 1999, okay? New life. He's down there out of prison. He's got a girlfriend.
Bradenton, Florida. Yeah.
Bradenton, live-in girlfriend. He's doing great. Until 1999, when he is accused of identity theft.
He's that guy.
He's that guy. He used his girlfriend's identity, stealing from his own girlfriend now, not even a stranger this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, his girlfriend's identity to falsify credit card applications so he could lease and insure a 1998 Nissan Pathfinder, and so it was new at the time, and to create a checking account from which he forged checks.
Yeah, my name's Teresa. What?
In her name. That is fucked.
How did they give... What the fuck? What's her name?
Shit, they don't say because she's a victim of the crime here, so they leave her out of it. But, yeah, he's 45 of 4500 Block 60th Street South, or 60th Street Court E. I don't know what the fuck. That's a crazy address.
Yeah.
Yeah. Florida has fucked up addresses.
It does.
So he's held in the jail in lieu of $32,000 bail. He's charged with 5 counts of scheming to defraud, 9 counts of uttering a forged instrument, and 4 counts of grand theft.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. He's accused of, like I said, using this lady's woman to lease a Pathfinder. He got insurance. He obtained numerous credit cards and a checking account. The spokesman for the Manatee County Sheriff's Office said, quote, she had no earthly clue what was going on.
Oh, he's such a dick.
He's such a fucking asshole. He ran up more than $50,000 in unpaid leases and credit card bills between March 1998 and May 1999.
Wow.
Just turned this poor lady upside down and shook her fucking pockets out for change, man. Police began investigating after being tipped by law enforcement agents in Virginia. They were like, we heard this guy's down there. Just keep a heads up. Literally, just keep an eye on that one. An acquaintance of Clay's called the police in Virginia after she learned that Clay had leased a truck in her name in Manatee. So she called, and then he ended up being arrested for it. So 5 counts of forgery, 5 counts of scheming to defraud, 9 counts of uttering a forged instrument, 4 counts of grand theft. And, he could be sentenced to more than 20 years in prison if convicted on all the charges by a jury.
Who's he think he is? Anna Delvey?
He really thinks he's Anna Delvey.
What
it's listen,
dumb thing to do.
We don't have the option to deport you. You're going to prison.
Yeah.
Like, it's not, we'll give her a sentence and then send her back to wherever the fuck she came from. This is a different story.
Do you know that bitch still hasn't left yet?
No, but she's in the process of, she's in the deportation, like the baggage claim. She's going around on the belts. They just got to pick her up and toss her on a boat or something, right?
She's filing stay after stay after stay. She's still here, that bitch.
Oh, she's full of shit, and she'll milk every second out of it, but...
They're trying to get her on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, I think, now?
No. There's nothing real about her. What are you talking about?
She's not real, nor a housewife, nor in Beverly Hills.
Nor rich, nor anything. She's just a liar. She's just a lying German. I don't understand
her
what the
name's
fuck.
not even
what are we talking
Delvey.
about?
She's a phony.
How have we handled lying Germans in the past 100 years, Jimmy? Very differently.
I really hope they get rid of her.
Fuck you. Oh, I hate her. She's the fucking... Her and Tinder Swindler are the worst.
Yeah.
That's why we did them both at the same time. We did
bad people.
The bonus. So now, Clay, what he does, he agrees to plead guilty. He's talking about. He agrees to pay back his creditors. It's like you can, on a payment plan and all this type of shit.
Okay.
He pleads guilty to using his ex-girlfriend's personal information to defraud 3 credit card companies. He's convicted of 24 felony counts altogether, including grand theft, fraud, and forgery. Just before the case went to trial, he decided to plead no contest to all the charges. Smart, probably.
Mm-hmm.
To pay restitution to credit card companies he defrauded. The public defender representing him said, quote, he pleaded no contest, which means he thought it was in his best interest to plea and not go to trial. The prosecutor said that she was actually surprised that he didn't go to trial. Prosecutor said the witness who leased him the car and the witness who sold him the insurance were not located, and the defense knew that, so our case was mostly circumstantial.
Yeah.
But it was mostly...
Are far too strong.
They're too strong. He's done this before, and that who he defrauded was going to get on the stand and be upset about it, and people were going to definitely side with her, and he was going to prison, period.
Mm-hmm.
So, he pleads to all this. He agrees to repay more than $40,000 by making payments of at least $200 a month. That won't take long. That won't take long, everybody. Don't worry about
20
it.
years.
Holy shit. Good luck, American Express. Fuck, man. And more than $40,000 to American Express and First Union Bank. The prosecutor said the victim's main concern was to get their money back. Yeah. He had no family or friends in the courtroom.
None?
None. Not a one.
Ouch.
Nothing. He gets sentenced to, you, sir, plus all the fines, may fuck off 15 years probation.
Oh, boy.
That is a lot. That's a lot of
That
probation.
will keep you in the system. You fuck up, you're going to prison for a long time.
Apparently. Well, I don't know. We'll see here. So, July 21st, 2004. He's married, to a woman named Judy. Judy has a 9-year-old son named Alex. Okay. All right? Alex gets taken away from them, apparently, here because of the situation going on at home, and is with an adopted family.
Okay.
So, in July of 2004... the family here, Daryl and Karina Burkle, are hiding because there's a court order transferring custody of the child back to Judy, and they don't think it's a safe environment for this kid back with Judy and Ken Clay.
Mm-hmm.
So they got an attorney to take on their case, and they came out of hiding, and they left the kid in an undisclosed location with relatives or something, so he couldn't be taken.
Yeah.
Judy, this is from the article, Judy, the child's biological mother, and her new husband, Ken Clay, lost custody of the child after a 2001 domestic violence call at the couple's Bradenton home that involved a stabbing.
Somebody was stabbed with a child in the house.
Yeah.
And they think they're fit parents.
This is fucking crazy. Yeah, this is nuts. And he's a convicted felon a few times over. The Aiken family court judge Peter Newsell presided over a hearing and found that the Burkles had shown no reason why the Florida order transferring custody should not be carried out, despite documented alcohol abuse, criminal convictions, and domestic violence in the Clays' home.
Wow.
The Burkles say the custody problems began after they unknowingly missed a family court hearing in Florida. But the Burkle guy says, now that we have an attorney willing to help Alex, I'm willing to face whatever trouble I may be in. The important thing is that Alex is safe and that he stays safe. So, that's what they're doing, talking about it all. They said they've been keeping themselves and the child hidden in various homes around the area. They called the sheriff to say, hey, look, everything's fine. We're just not coming in because we don't believe in this. And sheriff was like, listen, you got to really follow a court order. What the fuck? So anyway, the sheriff said, we want to open a dialogue with the father. I believe if we can do that, we can get this thing worked out. There's some issues we need to discuss with the man. We have an order from a judge that we have to enforce. So they've been on the lookout, looking for these people and their kid for weeks. And finally, they do that. They turn themselves in and all that sort of thing. So are they going to end up giving the kid back? Let's find out. He says that he fears his son because he's the kid's real father. It's not an adoptive couple. He's the kid's father, this Buck Burkle guy. Judy Clay's the mother. It's his ex-wife and her scumbag boyfriend.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's the ex-wife and its scumbag boyfriend.
It's not just like
custody.
a ward of the state to these people.
No.
This is his own
I
kid.
thought I mentioned that, but no, it's his fucking kid.
Okay.
His and her kid, and now she has this dirtbag living in the house, and there's all sorts of domestic violence and all this shit going on, and he's like, I want my kid. And he's having a hard time doing this. So, they said, we just want to protect Alex so much. Mm-hmm. So Burkle says that he fears for his son because his ex-wife Judy and her new husband, former New York Yankees pitcher Ken Clay, have a documented history of domestic violence. It includes one occasion where Judy Clay allegedly stabbed her husband during a 2001 altercation that took place while Alex was in their Bradenton home.
Wow.
After the stabbing, Darryl Burkle won custody of Alex in the same Florida court that now says he must release the child. After having full residential custody of Alex since 2001, they said their current difficulties began when they missed the court hearing, which we talked about. So they talk about his legal past, Ken, and it's pretty fucking ridiculous. The attorney said, my folks are not going to let this case try this case in the paper. You don't need to keep putting it in there. They wouldn't return messages because they will not be doing so. So they're saying, okay. So they go to court, and Darryl fears that he's going to be put in jail when he goes to court about it. But the appeals thing here, he is granted a victory here that gives him custody of his son and also let him not be arrested after 5 days of running from the law.
Of kidnapping a child.
Of kidnapping the kid, because they said that you were... In the end, they said, yes, that the court order was wrong and is unsafe. So he said, we're just so relieved. Our family's back together and there's no need to hide anymore. Mm-hmm. So, Alex, there was a deadline and everything when he was supposed to hand him over and he didn't. So the mother here, or the stepmother, Karina, she said, I was so upset. I was going to tell him our time was up when I got a call and found out it was all over. We're all just so happy. We can go home now and Alex is going with us. So, not bad. The sheriff said also, our main concern from day one was protecting the well-being of the child, and we had to proceed very cautiously to make sure we didn't jeopardize that.
Yeah. And in the article, when it says former Yankees pitcher, they should say, calm down, he's stolen more money than he's made.
Oh, by far. Yeah. Calm down, he owes more in restitution than he fucking made. The other thing... He was going for that 5th season. He had to do the full 4 full seasons in the league, which he didn't do because 77 was only a partial season.
Right.
So he doesn't get his pension.
No pension.
That's the problem. He was last year in 82 in spring training. He was saying, this is my year. I also get a pension this year, so this makes me feel better. And then they cut him and he never got shit.
Oh, my.
So he didn't stick around for that extra year to get that pension. And so he has no pension at all.
His life sucks.
It does suck. So, the judge ended up striking the requirement from the proposed order, thus leaving Alex in the custody of Burkle. So there we go. Anyway, there's that. So, I mean, Jesus Christ, he's stabbed by his wife. He's defrauding all these people. This fucking poor kid was living in fear with this guy. It's a mess right now.
He's got no money.
He has got also just a goddamn trail of victims and just people in his wake. Even he's getting Billy Martin fired. He's fucking everything up. I feel bad for all these people, Jimmy, all of them. Not nearly as bad as I feel for Ken Clay, senior IT manager at Primera Blue Cross in Seattle, Washington. That's something he would do.
Primera?
Yeah, Primera Blue Cross. He went to Rutgers. Ken Clay, founder and managing partner at Corinthian Capital Group, LLC in New York City. Whatever the fuck that is. Sounds like a rich guy. Yeah. Ken Clay, vice president at VSP Global Provider Services in Sherwood, Arkansas.
That's vision coverage.
Oh, it is?
It's vision insurance, yeah.
Hey, there you go. You probably have that. Ken Clay. You can thank Ken Clay. Ken Clay, broker/owner at Clay's Castle Real Estate. Oh, this poor guy. It's not the same guy.
No.
I think you can use him. Winston-Salem, North Carolina. No, he went to Wake Forest University, so no.
Yeah.
And then finally, Kenneth Clay, who is a really established and it's a lauded artist in the city of Louisville, Kentucky, who wrote a pretty cool book that I kind of want to fucking see here. 2 Centuries of Black Louisville, A Photographic History. It's fucking cool looking as shit. I want to get this book.
What's his name?
It on Amazon.
His name's Ken Clay?
Ken Clay, yeah.
Do you think he's related to Muhammad Ali?
He could be. I'm not sure.
I wonder if he is.
Clay is a pretty common last name. It's
Yeah.
in the South. So,
But in Louisville and
yeah, it's possible.
And a humanitarian, that's kind of...
He's an artist. So, yeah, that's a good point. 2005, Ken's moving on, gets a new job, Jimmy.
Yeah.
He's going to start over.
Hell yeah.
Clean slate, out of prison, good now.
Yeah.
Stab wounds are healing, everything's fine. Gets a new job working for the Copy Concept Copy Machine Company.
Oh, no.
He's a month and a half. He's working there for he only made 1 sale so far. He's not doing too great.
Yeah. Those things are expensive. You can get some good commission.
They're pricey. So after only having 1 sale and having people kind of tell him you need to try harder and you need to do all this shit, and he wants to make money as well, and he's not making any money, he falsifies a sales order for a Toshiba eStudio 3511 copier.
That's a nice one.
That would have landed him a $7,500 commission. How fucking much does that cost?
It's probably $20,000.
God, that's crazy. So he forged the supposed buyer's signature on 3 different documents.
Wow.
For that. The jury on this one's going to convict him after a 1-day trial, but that's not even the fun part. Okay. Workers at the company knew he was a former major league pitcher, but didn't know he's ever been arrested ever. Knew nothing of his criminal history, and it is 2005. It's not like Google exists. Oh, wait, yeah, it does. Yeah, you can just look up people.
Up.
Yeah. It was all on there. Could have looked it up. Could have went to the library, looked up newspapers. Could have done a lot back then. He said that the manager here said, quote, he had 1 other sale that I know of, and that was it. So, yeah, he forging shit.
2 sales, and one of them was fake.
One of them was fake. The manager also said, I don't know why he thought he could get away with that. Like, at some point, we're going to need the rest of the money from these people. Like,
or we're going to deliver the product, and they're not going to have a fucking clue why they have it.
What's that now? He was hoping they'd just be like, I guess bring it in and we'll pay for it. I don't know. Sure. That's a great salesman. Now, before this goes to trial, he is offered a plea agreement, which he's lucky to get with all the shit that he's done. This plea agreement gives him 6 months in the county jail.
6 months.
Which is way less than he should have. So, in county, too. So, he says, no, I don't think so. Not doing
Going to trial.
Going to trial. So, a jury convicts him of grand theft in a scheme that is the dumbest shit. He never even got the money. That's the thing. They caught him before the fucking check even came out.
Before the paycheck showed up?
Yeah. Like, he got nothing out of it. It's the dumbest attempted shit ever. It's so it's like he went in to a bank with like a bright yellow plastic squirt gun and was like, give me all your money. And they're like, I know that's not a real gun. And then he ran away. It's the same fucking crime. It's so stupid, but you're busted. The prosecutor said she didn't know what she would recommend for a sentence this time. In an application for a public defender, Clay listed his bank account at $300 and his monthly income at $1,170.
Ouch.
In late 2000s there. And that's his Major League Baseball Players Association pension. Oh, he did get the pension after all. Okay, he ended up barely getting it. Okay, that's what he's making. That. The prosecutor says, you, sir, may fuck off. Now, the prosecutor recommended a sentence of 3 years.
Yeah.
Prosecutor said, how about this? This is Circuit Judge Rick DeFuria. He says, you, sir, may fuck off. Have 5 years.
He's DeFurious.
He's Rick DeFurious. I like you less than she does. So, fuck you.
Yeah.
Jessica Zach was being a little too nice here. Fuck this shit. So
even at $1,100 a month, he's still making the same money he made in the league almost.
Yeah, but it's 27 years later is the only problem.
Yeah.
Times have changed a bit.
Yeah.
So he goes to prison. That is, then 2006, 7, he gets sentenced or whatever. He doesn't get out of prison till February 14th, 2012.
Wow.
He does like 4 and change in prison, man.
Almost the whole thing.
Almost the whole bit. You can't let him out. He's just going to fuck up again. So he's released from prison, and guess what he does, Jimmy?
What is it, James?
He's going to break his last crime and sports rule and move back home to Lynchburg, where everything's going to be fine now, right?
Perfect, yeah.
But he hasn't been arrested in about 10 years, though, so that's good. I mean, good for you, Ken, but wow. He's a forgotten person, until today, I guess. But he's now he's going to have a few 100,000 people that know all about him. But
all about it.
Not the first part, because that's not true. But the rest of it, all true. Can't get enough. There's a ton of baseball cards from him.
That's where he lives 70s. Now?
Lynchburg, I guess. That was where he lived in 2012. Who the hell knows where he is now? I mean, he could be anywhere. But
he could be in jail in Lynchburg.
We have no idea. He could be running the jail in Lynchburg. He could be the judge. He could be the fucking justice of the peace there. We have no clue. Could be the mayor. We don't know.
He could be faking being a Justin's rep and just stealing money for class rank.
Just walking around with an old tattered catalog. Yeah. They're like, it says 2003 on this. He's like, yeah, we've had the same one for like, I just don't. Don't worry about it. It's all the same. It's all the same shit.
You're not graduating high school anyway.
You're getting a little ring. It's been the same since the 60s. Just order one. Come on. Only cash. I'm sorry. No Square. No, none of that shit. Cash. Venmo, get the fuck out of here. Cash. So, yeah, you can buy his baseball cards and all that shit, or just, watch out, because he could be looking to scam you at any moment. You never know. So keep an eye out for him, because he's out there.
Wow. In his 70s
Either way.
Now?
Let's see. He's in his 60s. He's born in 54. Yeah, he's 68 years old, and so hopefully he's slowed down, maybe.
Yeah.
I would hope. Mix some Social Security in with that pension, give him some less reason to steal. I don't know. That's all we can hope for.
He's just
Either way.
From the penny dish at gas stations.
Oh, he is. Yeah, he's like, you don't need that. These kids already have muscular dystrophy. I don't know what 50 cents is going to do for them, and he swipes it. So that's Ken Clay, everybody. That is a crazy story. And, especially, the first, 35 minutes of it wasn't even real, but the rest of it was pretty crazy, too. Yeah. Anyway, that's Ken Clay. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, tell us all about it. Let us know. If this was your first episode, don't, because they're normally 100% factual. So
these are the best ones.
But these are fun. Anyway, check that out. Give us a review. 5 stars would be great. Also, hit us up on our site there, shutupandgivememurder.com, where you can get all your tickets to live shows. There is one crime and sports live show with tickets left, and that is August at the Ace of Spades in Sacramento. Yeah. And then otherwise, our next couple of months are sold out. There is not a live show with tickets available until New Orleans in July. Yep. All the other ones are sold out, but you can check because people still return them because they're rescheduled shows, and a couple will pop up here and there. Yeah. Except we do have a Small Town Murder live show, a virtual live show, May the 5th. Hang out with us for Cinco de Mayo. Tickets aren't on sale yet. They'll go on sale later in the week, so we'll post it on our social media when they do go on sale. And you can follow us on that social media very easily. Sure. We are at Crime and Sports on Twitter and Facebook, at Small Town Murder on Instagram. Patreon. My goodness, Patreon. By the way, we apologize. All because of our confusing thing, the shouts will be on hold for a week. They'll all be there, though. We're going to make them up. Trust us. You'll get your shout. If you're waiting for it this week, we apologize. You will get it next week. It's a weird thing where we had to do a math problem to see because we did the head of the episode, so we had to make sure that they were current. We didn't want them to be mixed up. Right. It's so you can get the shout-outs in the right way, in the right order. Trust us. All we have to do, there's a week delay on it, so we do apologize for that. But you will get a shout-out. We'll make it extra enthusiastic, as a matter of fact, next week, because you did wait for it, and that really, we don't like making anybody wait for that kind of shit. So, But you will get your shout-out, and you will get 2 amazing episodes every other week as well. You'll get access to Crime and Sports and Small Town Murders bonus episodes. This week, the 2 you're going to get for your Patreon subscription is going to be, number 1, The Secret Life of Tiger Woods, where we discuss all of his dirty down low shenanigans that he was up to. Every waitress he was hooked up with and
none of us had any fucking clue.
Yeah, all of this. What resulted in him being on television with a black eye and a smashed windshield and his wife with a golf club in her hand? What the fuck happened? We're going to find out. And from what I've read so far and what I've looked into it, it is he's lucky he didn't get worse because he was, wow. Yeah. A lot of people's wives would definitely have fucking injured the shit out of him. You like golf, motherfucker? Okay. Let me show you my 5-iron. She would have wailed on him.
Crashed an Escalade into a fucking tree and a fire hydrant on his property.
Terrible, terrible shit. And then for small town murders, we have one of the favorites of everyone, the prisoner dating game, everybody. That's right. Jimmy is going to pick from, he's got beautiful, wonderful people here. We're going to line up 4 lovely bachelors, 4 lovely bachelorettes for him. He will not be able to see what they did. And they're all going to be, this is the violent felon edition. Nobody that's in there for like drug possession or anything. Yeah. This is, and I look for bad ones too. They suck.
The scum de la scum, James.
There is usually one out of the 4, there's usually one that's not the worst, one that's a monster, and 2 that are just awful. That's the way it works usually. And one of them's like a pedophile usually sometimes. So either way, Jimmy's got to pick that. It's basically a shell game of avoid the pedophile. He doesn't want to pick the kid diddler. He doesn't know what they did until after he picks someone, and then I tell them what he did. Yeah. All he gets to see is not even their picture, just how they can charm him through their posting. It's so much fun, and he always picks the wrong person. It's amazing.
There's never a good one.
Never. Patreon.com/crime and sports is where you get all of that and your shout out. And if you just want to get the shout out next week, like we said, you can do that super easily on PayPal using our email address, crimeinsports@gmail.com. Yep. Also, if you want to suggest anything for crime and sports or small town murder, especially athletes that aren't kind of not in the mainstream, not Lawrence Taylor and people, Chris Benoit. We get not those. We know you want to see those, and you will hear about those, but maybe ones that have fallen through the cracks that you know about that you might not think everyone else knows about. Research at shutupandgivememurder.com is where you send that. That is the place where it'll actually get filed away, and it won't get lost in the Twitter feed. So definitely do that. And keep coming back and seeing us. I'm excited. That was fun. We didn't get to do baseball all the time, so baseball's great. And also, if you want to find us anywhere else, find the host, you can do that through our site. Shutupandgivememurder.com. God damn it. We're there.
Yeah.
And by the way, any questions about the staggering of the episodes or whatever, listen to the beginning of the show where we explained it thoroughly. I do not have the energy to explain it again after that long-ass weekend of live shows.
And
it's been a lot.
After tweet, after message
it's a lot.
Of, look, we're doing our best.
We're trying.
Yeah.
That's all. With that said, God damn it, live from the Crime and Sports Studios, we will see you next week.
Bye.
If you like crime and sports, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.